Chapter 2363. The Tao God Realm seniors who were arrogant just now, saying that Qin Yun did not have the qualifications to possess the God King Heavenly Seal, were now all turned to dust, their souls scattered and died. Even Jiang Jiuquan thought that with Qin Yun's current cultivation level, even if he had the Godly King Heavenly Seal, his strength would still be limited. After all, he was only a sacred god and had only cultivated 2 sacred heavenly Tao images. However, the scene just now made Jiang Jiuquan reevaluate Qin Yun's strength. The strength of a person who possessed a God King Heavenly Seal could not be measured by cultivation level, be it in the 9 heavens or the God's wilderness. What Jiang Jiuquan doesn't know is that Qin Yun didn't obtain much power from Divine King Heavenly Seal. His main source of power is his 10 Tao images, Heavenly Imperial Heart, etc. The Godly King Heavenly Seal was just icing on the cake for the current Qin Yun. As for the future, it was hard to say. In short, with Qin Yun's present strength, he was qualified to possess the Godly Monarch Heavenly Seal. Also, the Godly Monarch Heaven Seal could be said to have been formed because of Qin Yun. In a sense, it was Qin Yun who created the current Divine King Heavenly Seal. Otherwise, it would only be a slightly higher status Sun God Divine position and not this perfect Heavenly Seal. The juniors of the Primal Chaos race and the Divine Sword race were still there. They were all at the Saint God Realm and were currently in the sky. They witnessed a group of Tao God Realm seniors being instantly killed by Qin Yun. They were extremely shocked. They also knew that their clan emperor was killed by Qin Yun, but they never thought that Qin Yun's strength was already so strong that he could beat up so many Tao God Realm seniors. The reason why Qin Yun had such strength was not only because he was powerful, but also because of the combination of the 9 dragons' heavenly origin array, the heaven sealing chain, and the Empyrean Overlord. Of course, even if he did not use those things, with Qin Yun's own strength, he would be able to defeat those Tao God Realm seniors. It was just that it would not be that easy and fast. Damn Palace King Nanyang. No matter how strong you are, you can't be stronger than our Chaos Divine Sun. Die together with the Chaos Divine Sun. A young man from the Chaotic clan shouted angrily in the sky. Since he could control the Chaos Divine Sun, it was highly likely that he was the descendant of the Chaos race's The Arch or the descendant of another elder. Kill him. The youths of the Primal Chaos race, Divine Sword race, and Divine Star race roared in unison. The Primal Chaos God Sun was very strong. Moreover, this Primal Chaos God Sun had always been with the Primal Chaos race, mainly to protect them. The youth controlled the Primal Chaos Divine Sun to descend and smash at Qin Yun. The 9 dragons' heavenly origin formation frantically released its power, forming a very powerful barrier. The youth from the Divine Sword race shouted, "I can control the Sword Mountain Great Formation. If the Primal Chaos Divine Sun falls down, it won't destroy this place. Don't worry and do it." The people from the Divine Sword race are also very excited because by sacrificing their Chaos Divine Sun to kill Qin Yun, their Divine Sword race has gained a great advantage. As such, among the God Sword race, the God Star race, and the Primal Chaos race, the God Sword race was the strongest because they still had the Sword Forest Desert. As for the declining Divine Star race and Chaotic race, they could only merge with the Divine Sword race, led by the Divine Sword race. The Chaotic Divine Sun slowly descended and was about to hit the 9 dragons' heavenly origin array. Qin Yun controlled the 9 dragons' heavenly origin array, and 9 dragons surged out. 9 huge dragons rushed into the sky and wrapped around the huge Primal Chaos Divine Sunday Yunar, exterminate the soul inside the Primal Chaos Divine Sun. A sacred tribulation gate appeared behind Qin Yun. Ling Yun, turned into a ray of light, flew out of the sacred tribulation gate, and entered the Primal Chaos Divine Sunday. The Primal Chaos Divine Sun was temporarily unable to descend because it was entangled by the formidable 9 dragons' heavenly origin array. The 9 huge dragons tightly wrapped around the Primal Chaos Divine Sun and floated in the sky. It looked extremely shocking. The youth from the primal chaos race became anxious. He did not expect that the formidable primal chaos divine sun would be sealed. Now Ling Yun, is the sacred heavenly Tao image. She has become very strong along with Qin Yun's strength. She entered the primal chaos divine yang and found the soul that she was familiar with and quickly devoured it. Back when they were outside the divine sun heavenly island, Ling Yun helped Qin Yun snatch the primal chaos race emperor's primal chaos divine Sunday. And now, they're much stronger than before, so it is much easier for them to move. After Ling Yun succeeded, she informed Qin Yun. Qin Yun's wrist flourished with multicolored light and released a strong spatial fluctuation. Little Queen Ant helped release even stronger spatial divine power and wrapped around the huge primal chaos divine Sunday. Then she carried out spatial transfer and transferred the primal chaos divine sun into the nine sun divine soul. In the blink of an eye, the primal chaos divine sun that was wrapped up by the 9 huge dragons disappeared. Just now, Jiang Zhouchuan sensed a very strong spatial fluctuation. It is very clear that the primal chaos divine sun has been moved away. Jiang Zhouchuan knows that Qin Yun once obtained a primal chaos divine sun, and now he has obtained another one. Gone, gone. The youth from the primal chaos race's face is ashen. He is completely dumbfounded. He can't understand. Such a huge primal chaos divine sun with a very powerful soul inside it. How could it disappear all of a sudden? Even when the primal chaos race's emperor travels, the primal chaos divine sun that he carries with him cannot be placed inside his storage space. He has to take it out and let it float in the air. Qin Yun now has 4 divine suns. You are from the divine star race, primal chaos race, and divine sword race, right? Your emperor, king, and duke are already dead. Do you still have a nerve to live? Qin Yun looked at the group of youths in the sky and said, your family should be neat and tidy. Since they are dead, you should accompany them. You, the youth from the primal chaos race shouted. Brothers from the divine sword race, quickly activate the great formation and exterminate him. The youth from the divine sword race is holding 2 sword flags in his hands. Just as he was about to wave the sword flags, Qin Yun suddenly appeared in front of him. Qin Yun released gravity and wrapped around the youth from the divine sword race, making him unable to move. Then he snatched the 2 sword flags. This is the magic tool you use to control this great formation. Qin Yun chuckled. Many thanks for the gift. I will properly cherish it. Your divine sword race can be reunited. As soon as Qin Yun finished speaking, he released the gravity domain and enveloped the 3 youths from the powerful races. The gravity distorted all the people from the powerful races and then compressed them to a single point, finally condensing them into a fist-sized ball. Hundreds of people have been compressed into a ball, just like that. Jiang Daliang, who is being held in Jiang Zhouchuan's hand, is so scared that his face is distorted. Even Jiang Zhouchuan is once again shocked by Qin Yun's strength. All the people in the sky have disappeared. All of them have been compressed into a ball. Qin Yun lightly waved his hand, and the ball ignited with blue flame, turned into energy, and floated between heaven and earth. Qin Yun is floating in the sky, looking down at Jiang Zhouchuan, and said in cold voice, Jiang Tribe King, from now on, Sword Forest Desert is my 9 Yan Divine Palace's territory. You guys from the Myriad World's Divine Sun World better not cause trouble, or I'll kill my way to the Ancestral God Sun World to settle the score with you. Hall King deserves the Sword Forest Desert for having such strength. After I return, I will make sure my people don't cause trouble. Jiang Zhouchuan's expression is somewhat awkward. He said again, Palace King, sometimes people don't necessarily listen to me. If someone from 9 Heaven God race comes here to cause trouble, they are definitely not my subordinates. They are my subordinates, not my instigation. If someone from 9 Heaven God race comes here to cause trouble, you must cooperate with me to capture the culprit. Qin Yun said, Of course, of course. Jiang Zhouchuan said, My son has offended you before. I hope Palace King can forgive me. I will come back with gifts to ask for forgiveness in the future. Jiang Zhuochuan also knows that Qin Yun did not kill Jiang Daliang and left him with his dog head because he is giving Jiang Zhuochuan face. Otherwise, Jiang Daliang would have already died without leaving behind any remains. "I won't see you off," Qin Yun said. "Farewell." Just as Jiang Zhuochuan is about to leave, the space in the sky suddenly distorted. The 100,000 Sword Mountain range in Sword Forest Desert suddenly trembled. "Palace King, the Great Formation has been activated. Someone from the 9 heavens can activate the Great Formation and open a space passage," Jiang Zhuochuan promptly said. "It must be Heavenly Demon Divine King and others who want to send experts here." Qin Yun narrowed his eyes and said with sneer, "Just in time, I will try controlling this heaven-connecting Great Formation." He waved his hand and controlled the 9 altars to float into the grassland and surround the lake. Qin Yun is floating in the middle of the lake, holding the 2 sword flags in his hands. He released formidable mental power and ascended into the lake. The core of the heaven-connecting Great Formation in Sword Forest Desert is at the bottom of the lake, and there is a formidable soul below. Qin Yun very quickly sensed that there is a formidable soul struggling at the bottom of the lake. It is as if it is sealed. It is constantly releasing formidable divine power to break out of the seal. The formation spirit has been sealed. No wonder this great formation cannot be completely controlled. Those guys from the Immortal Sword Clan, how did they manage to seal such an array soul? Could it be that people from the 9 heavens are secretly helping them? Qin Yun looked at Jiang Zhuochuan and asked, "Do you know who sealed the formation spirit?" The space above the Great Formation is still vibrating. The 100,000 Sword Mountain range is constantly absorbing the divine power of the 3 myriad realms' divine suns to open a passage in the sky. Seeing Qin Yun's expression, Jiang Zhuochuan sighed. "It is my father divine, King Jiangxian's doing. The person controlling this great formation from the 9 heavens is also my father divine, King Jiangxian. For divine King Jiangxian to open a passage in such a hurry, Heavenly Demon Divine King must have told him something. Divine King Jiangxian and Heavenly Demon Divine King have joined hands." Qin Yun looked at Luo Yaofeng. The Shadow God King behind Luo Yaofeng was previously forced into a desperate situation and then disappeared. It is also at this time that Luo Yaofeng brought the Yushan seal head to the Divine Desolate. It is very likely that Heavenly Demon Divine King and Divine King Jiangxian joined hands and forced the Shadow God King into a desperate situation. "You are quite honest." Qin Yun laughed and said, "Then do you know how to break this great formation?" Qin Yun can tell that Divine King Jiangxian is definitely not a good person. Otherwise, he would not have refined 7 hearts, 9 heads formation, and human skin heavenly talisman. "I don't know. My father's attainments and inscription are extremely high. I am far inferior to him." Jiang Zhuochuan shook his head. Chapter 2364. Sword Forest Desert is currently absorbing the divine power of myriad realms' divine sun and then opening up a spatial passage to connect to the 9 heavens. This process will take a period of time. Qin Yun had to take complete control of the array before those people arrived, before closing the passageway. He wasn't afraid of that group of people. He just didn't want the 9 heavens divine race to do evil. According to his understanding of a 9 heaven celestial race, most of the 9 heaven celestial race members ate humans. If a large group of them suddenly came, they would definitely want to have a taste of the deity desolate after descending upon the deity desolate. They would definitely gorge themselves. In the sky, the space fluctuated and rippled. The sky is like a calm water ripple. The passage in the center can open at any time. 100,000 Sword Mountain is still trembling unceasingly, absorbing a large amount of myriad realms' divine sun power. To open a spatial passage requires a lot of energy. It can be seen that the space wall between the 9 heavens and Divine Desolate is very thick. Moreover, Divine Desolate also has its own space to protect it. Luo Yaofeng is inside the prairie, looking at Jiang Zhuochuan outside. Jiang Jiuquan also looked at Luo Yaofeng and said with smile, "Princess Luo, you met a good friend in Divine Desolate. Jiang Jiuquan, your father Divine, King Jiangxian, won't personally come, right?" Luo Yaofeng asked. Her voice is very cold and full of imposing manner, as if she is looking at a junior. "No, he said that he can't come for the time being because there are restrictions between the nine heavens and Divine Desolate." Jiang Jiuquan shook his head and asked, "Princess Luo, what happened to Shadow God King?" Luo Yaofeng said with sneer, "You really don't know?" Jiang Jiuquan sighed and said, "I only know that Shadow God King fought a great battle and then disappeared. This is what my father told me from the nine heavens." Although Jiang Jiuquan is in Divine Desolate, he has always been paying attention to what is happening in the nine heavens. Because once the nine heavens becomes unstable, a large number of people will come to Divine Desolate. Nine heavens no longer have Shadow God King. Luo Yaofeng looked at the sky and said with long sigh, "Nine heavens is a hell filled with darkness. Being able to leave early is also a kind of release." "That's right. My luck is pretty good. I was able to arrive at Divine Desolate early." Jiang Jiuquan's expression is filled with worry as he said, "Jiang Jiuquan, other than this formation, are there a few other places that can connect to the nine heavens?" Luo Yaofeng asked. "There's a passage inside the ancestral god Sun. Other than that, according to what I know, there are at least 3 places in the deity Desolate that are connected to the nine heavens." Jiang Jiuquan shook his head. "The nine heavens are vast, and the godly wasteland is constantly expanding. One day, the two worlds will collide. Looks like the conflict between the nine heavens and the divine wilderness is unavoidable." Luo Yaofeng was also worried. To those who were tired of the hellish environment of the nine heavens, the divine wilderness was like a paradise. They were reluctant to part with such an environment. However, once the nine heavens invaded, it was highly likely that this place would become like the nine heavens. Nine Yang Palace King will not let them succeed. We must believe in his power." Jiang Jiuquan said. "Princess Luo, can I ask you a question?" "Ask away." Luo Yaofeng could also tell that Jiang Jiuquan did not wish for the nine heavens to invade the gods Desolate, which was why he was extremely opposed to his god king father. "Yushan's sealed head is in your hands. Does it mean that you are the Shadow God King?" Jiang Jiuquan said, "As far as I know, in order to control the heavenly seal, one must obtain its approval. The heavenly seal only recognizes souls. The Shadow God King is already dead." Luo Yaofeng said. When Jiang Daliang heard his father's question, he suddenly understood. Luo Yaofeng is most likely the Shadow God King. The Shadow God King is dead. It is possible that only his body was destroyed. As for Princess Luo Yaofeng, it is extremely likely that she is an avatar. There is no Shadow God King in the nine heavens, and there is only one God King in the deity Desolate. It seems like the Shadow God King really does not exist anymore." Jiang Jiuquan nodded, then vigorously pinched his son's head, telling him not to spread this matter. Luo Yaofeng came to the side of the lake, hoping that Qingyun would come up quickly. Luo Yaofeng is also very surprised that the Sword Forest Desert was actually controlled by the people from the nine heavens. She and Qingyun are both at the Sacred God Realm, so the Grasslands Barrier is extremely safe. If the people from the nine heavens came, it would not be certain. If they were to control the Sword Forest Desert and retract the Grasslands Barrier, then use the Sword Forest Desert's Great Array to seal Qingyun, then they would be in danger. Qingyun, who is under the lake, quickly saw 9 swords that are as tall as 2 people stabbed into the bottom of the lake, forming a sealing barrier. The 9 swords formed a circle, and in the middle of the circle, there is a large purple gold crab. The large crab is covered in a layer of pale white light. It is a kind of sealing power that binds the large crab. The large crab is as big as a small house. It is struggling inside the 9 heaven soul suppressing sword, releasing a very powerful soul divine power in an attempt to break out of the barrier. 9 heaven, soul, suppressing sword. After Qin Yun approached his sword, he said in astonishment, "These swords were refined using a large number of powerful souls." Just how many souls were used to condense such a sturdy sword body? The 9 heavens divine demons are also formed from souls. The body is the soul, and the soul is the body. Therefore, he never thought of using powerful mental power to attack their souls. Xiao Yun, there must be a lot of souls in the 9 heavens. We can plunder them at will. Ling Yuner said, "That's right." Qin Yun nodded and arrived beside a sword. He injected his mental power into it to investigate the situation of the sword. After probing, he discovered that the sword has a large amount of tyrannical soul power, and it is filled with evil aura. This kind of thing should be very easy to deal with. Qin Yun seems to be pouring overwhelming righteous power into the sword body, purifying the evil aura inside and stabilizing the 9 heaven soul, suppressing sword. In this way, the souls inside the 9 swords are no longer irritable and can be further attacked. Otherwise, it would be easy to suffer a backlash. For example, if one of these 9 heaven soul suppressing swords exploded, the soul that erupted would be enough to injure Qin Yun's soul. Even the erased spirit would be severely injured. The erased spirit transformed into a large crab. After being sealed for so long, it must have been affected by the evil aura inside the 9 heaven soul suppressing swords. Therefore, Qin Yun must purify the evil aura inside the erased spirit. Only by doing so can the erased spirit cooperate with Qin Yun and be controlled by him. After the 9 heaven soul suppressing swords and the large crab were purified by Qin Yun, they are very stable. Qin Yun began to pull out the swords. The process of pulling out the swords is very easy. The 9 heaven soul suppressing swords were very quickly taken out by Qin Yun. The large crab is now happily swimming around at the bottom of the lake. Large crab, now that you have regained your freedom, can you control this formation? Qin Yun said, "At this moment, someone is controlling the formation. It is the evil person who sealed you before. Can you stop them from opening the spatial channel?" The large crab naturally knows that Qin Yun saved him, so he did not attack Qin Yun. Instead, he used his mind to communicate with Qin Yun. His voice sounded very old. "Young man, I am already old. I can no longer completely control the heavenly sword formation. Then how can I control it again?" Qin Yun asked. "I need Ancestor God Sun's help." The heavenly sword formation was born because of Ancestor God Sun's influence. "I can ask Ancestor God Sun for help," the large crab said. "The heavenly sword formation can actually be controlled by Ancestor God Sun. Then does Ancestor God Sun not care about you being sealed?" Qin Yun curiously asked. "Ancestor God Sun's existence is very special. Moreover, Myriad Heaven Divine Desolate is very big. He doesn't know everything. Only if we can contact him and let him know that the consequences will not be good for Myriad Heaven Divine Desolate, then he will intervene." While the large crab was speaking, the bottom of the lake suddenly became golden and dazzling. Ancestor God Sun shot down a strong light beam and entered the lake at the center of the Sword Forest Desert. "I will spare no effort to control the heavenly sword formation. The power Ancestor God Sun bestowed me can only let me control it for a while, but it is enough," the large crab said. The large crab let Qin Yun stand on its back and then floated to the surface of the lake. After Qin Yun came out, Luo Yaofeng felt a lot more relieved. A whirlpool appeared in the sky. The spatial fluctuation became even stronger. A huge black hole slowly formed in the middle of the whirlpool. The large crab floated up. Its 2 large pincers started dancing. The 100,000 sword mountains that were trembling and releasing strong light suddenly stopped trembling. The strong light released by the sword mountains also dimmed down. The spatial fluctuation in the sky also gradually disappeared. The passage above the 9 heavens did not smoothly open. However, they will not give up like this. There are still other passages that can lead to Myriad Heaven Divine Desolate. "Palace King, I will take my leave first. If those guys come, I will immediately notify Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Jiang Zhechuan saw Qin Yun's success and felt a lot more relieved. Then he promptly left the Sword Forest Desert. A large pearl suddenly rushed out of the large crab's mouth and floated in front of Qin Yun. It said, "Youngster, find a suitable soul body and pass down the formation spirit." "Senior, what about you?" Qin Yun asked. "I want to go to ancient desolate." The large crab said with clear and bright laugh. Then it floated up and slowly flew away from the Sword Forest Desert. The large crab floated high in the sky and disappeared. Qin Yun is still on the prairie, holding the bright and dazzling pearl. This is the formation spirit that controls the heavenly sword formation. Luo Yaofeng walked to Qin Yun's side. Seeing that Qin Yun is fine, she heaved a sigh of relief. She took off her mask and said to Qin Yun with a light smile, "Brother A Yun, I didn't expect you to be the king of gods. I was truly blind before. Princess, you can rest assured and stay in Myriad Heaven Divine Desolate. Myriad Heaven Divine Desolate needs your power to fight against the 9 heavens demons," Qin Yun said with smile. Luo Yaofeng smiled and nodded. Next, Qin Yun will move Nine-Yang Divine Palace to Sword Forest Desert. Sword Forest Desert can accommodate 100,000 sword mountains. It is very vast. Even if 9 Sun Royal family came in, it would not be a problem. Qin Yun brought Luo Yaofeng and rushed back to Nine-Yang Divine Palace. After returning to Nine-Yang Divine Palace, Qin Yun saw his father Qin Long in the main hall. Chapter 2365. When Qin Yun came in, he greeted Qin Long. However, Qin Long is still sitting on the ground and did not look at Qin Yun. "Dad, what's wrong?" Qin Yun already sensed that Qin Long's situation is not right. He squatted down and patted Qin Long's shoulder and asked in a low voice. Qin Long glanced at Qin Yun and then lowered his head to look at the ground. "Xiao Yuelan is also very worried," she said with frown. "Xiao Yun, I suspect that father is currently delirious. He only remembers coming back here." Qin Yun placed his hand on Qin Long's head. He is currently burning with anxiety. He wants to quickly figure out what happened to Qin Long. After he released his mental power to investigate, he did not discover anything. The little palace spirit and the elders of the other palaces have all investigated father's situation. They didn't find any problems. Xiao Yuelan sighed and said, "Xiao Yun, father must have experienced something to become like this." Xiao Yuelan also noticed Luo Yaofeng. Because she is anxious about Qin Long's situation, she did not ask who Luo Yaofeng is. "Let me take a look." Luo Yaofeng walked over and said softly. "In." Qin Yun retreated to the side. Luo Yaofeng's lily-white hand is covered in a light blue glow. Floating above Qin Long's head, she said, "Brother A Yun, wait patiently. I need some time to investigate." Qin Yun arrived beside Xiao Yuelan. Xiao Yuelan pulled Qin Yun's hand and said softly, "Xiao Yun, who is she?" "A princess from the 9 heavens." Qin Yun secretly transmitted his voice and told Xiao Yuelan, White Death, and the little palace spirit about Luo Yaofeng. The little palace spirit is also beside White Death. She just arrived. After Xiao Yuelan and the others found out about the Sword Forest Desert, they are also very shocked. Qin Yun instructed White Death and the little palace spirit to make arrangements for the Nine-Yang Divine Palace's relocation. He also told them to inform 3 Heavenly City and White Sun Heavenly City, as well as the Nine-Yang royal family. The Nine-Yang royal family's Qin clan is nearby. Those clans have agreed to move to the vicinity of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Currently, the Nine-Yang royal family's clan emperor is Yushi. The other clan's clan emperors are all called clan kings. They all listen to you, Shi clan emperor. If they want to move to the Sword Forest Desert, they only need to inform Yushi and let her inform those clan kings. White Death and the little temple spirit immediately went to make arrangements. As for Qin Yun, he went outside and used the Divine King Heavenly Seal to contact Yun Long and call him over. Yun Long was the shopkeeper of the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. Now that Qin Long had returned to the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop to work, he naturally had to ask Yun Long about this matter. Yun Long arrived very quickly. Qin Yun welcomed him from outside the Nine-Yang Divine Palace and briefly explained the situation to him. Knowing Qin Long's current situation, Yun Long's expression was extremely solemn. Manager Cloud Dragon, what did my father do before? Qin Yun asked. The Heavenly Dao pawn shop's actions were very secretive. Qin Yun rarely asked about it in the past. He went with your mother to complete a very important task, mainly to retrieve an item that was pawned. Yin Long said, Then what about my mother? Qin Yun became even more anxious. Xiao Yuelon hurriedly walked over and looked at Yun Long. Your mother's condition is still fine. She was saved by another person. That person is also from my Heavenly Law pawn shop, but he hasn't returned yet. Yun Long's eyes were evasive. Qin Yun immediately grabbed Yun Long's clothes and said in a deep voice, My parents were attacked? Who did it? This matter has not been investigated clearly yet. Yin Long knew that Qin Yun would be very angry, so he was extremely careful. He glanced at Qin Long and said, Palace King, our top priority right now is to cure your father. Otherwise, we won't be able to understand anything. Xiao Yuelon asked coldly, Mother was saved? Then is her situation the same as father's? Yin Long let out a long sigh and nodded. According to the information that was sent back, it is indeed the same as Qin Long's situation. But don't worry, they will definitely recover. What kind of shopkeeper are you? You don't even know what happened to them? Qin Yun said with a cold snort. I'm also investigating. I've already mobilized everyone in the pawn shop to investigate. Yin Long said. When your foster father found out about the situation, he immediately rushed over. He originally thought that he would save Qin Long, but he never expected that Qin Long would run back here. Xiao Yuelon asked, Then what did you get father and mother to retrieve? This is our Heavenly Law pawn shop's secret. It cannot be leaked. Yin Long saw Qin Yun's expression and hurriedly said, Please understand. Seeing that Yin Long was still unwilling to reveal the situation, Qin Yun was about to flip out. However, at that moment, he heard Luo Yaofeng exclaim softly, Uncle Qin's 9 souls and 9 spirits are all intact, and his mental state is extremely good. The reason why it's like this is because he's been cursed. Curse. In 9 Heaven Law Curse. Luo Yaofeng nodded lightly. Qin Yun suddenly recalled that Tian Daozi had once said that there were some people in the 9 Heavens divine race who mastered all kinds of powerful 9 Heaven Law Curse. Was it done by someone from the 9 Heavens divine race? Qin Yun asked, I'm not sure yet. This kind of curse is very difficult to remove. I need to find the source. Luo Yaofeng said, This kind of curse is very brilliant. It's definitely not something an ordinary person can do. Does this curse exist in the body or the soul? Xiao Yuelon asked, It's not in the body, nor is it in the soul. Therefore, if we directly investigate the body and soul, we won't be able to find anything. Luo Yaofeng shook his head gently. When casting the curse, as long as there is hair, the curse can be cast. If there is blood or flesh or bones, then an even stronger curse can be cast. Sister Luo, you definitely have a way to undo it, right? Xiao Yuelon said very sadly. Father and mother were reborn after death. It was not easy for them to be together, but now it's like this. We have to find the person who cast the curse in order to undo the 9 Heaven Law Curse. Otherwise, they can only continue to be like this. Luo Yaofeng walked to the side and looked at Yun Long. He asked, Sir, we need to find the person who cast the curse. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun looked at Yun Long with a very fierce expression. Yun Long was stared at by the couple and felt a lot of pressure. He wiped his sweat and said, Can you let me go back and ask the few bosses of the pawn shop? I'm just a shopkeeper. There are some things I can't decide. Bosses? Since when did the pawn shop have a few bosses? You never told me. Qin Yun snorted. There's always been. It's just that it's very mysterious, so you don't know. I'll go back and ask them. Maybe they know more. Yun Long said with a bitter smile. Palace King, I'll definitely go back to help you. You're my good friend. Then I'll wait for your news. If the Heavenly Law pawn shop doesn't give me an explanation and doesn't handle this matter well, I'll tear down that lousy pawn shop. Qin Yun said angrily. Yin Long could only smile bitterly. If someone else said that they wanted to tear down the Heavenly Law pawn shop, he would definitely laugh it off and think that it was nonsense. However, if Qin Yun said that he wanted to tear down the Heavenly Law pawn shop, he would definitely be able to do so. All right, if my mother is brought back to the Heavenly Law pawn shop, send her to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. The Nine-Yang Divine Palace will immediately move to the center of the Dao Sword Forest Desert. Qin Yun said, Sword Forest Desert? I heard that there was a great battle over there, and many Dao God Realm fellows died. Yin Long said in shock. The God King's puppet avatar from the Nine Heavens is here. I've already taken care of it. Qin Yun said, Go back and tell those bosses to pay attention to the matter of my parents. Otherwise, I'll directly kill my way to their door and demand an explanation from them. Qin Yun's parents worked for the pawn shop. Now that something had happened and the pawn shop's boss still ignored it, it was equivalent to looking down on his parents' lives. Qin Yun would definitely kill his way over. Got it. Yin Long immediately left. Qin Yun moved Yun Long to the Heavenly Palace's space and made a courtyard for him to sit there quietly. And at this time, the Nine-Yang Divine Palace is also quickly moving towards the Sword Forest Desert. Bai Si and the Little Palace Spirit have already informed the Nine Sun Royal Family. 3. A Heavenly City and White Sun Heavenly City. Qin Yun also went to find Xiao Hua and the other inscription masters of the Inscription Gate, and simply told them about the matter of the 100,000 Sword Mountain in the Sword Forest Desert. He told them to quickly study the 100,000 Sword Mountain and then add a few more formations inside. Furthermore, he wanted to divide it into a few regions. As for the inheritance of the formation spirit, Qin Yun also handed it over to the mountain god. His divine mountain, together with the little black donkey and Xiao Hua, is very experienced in controlling all kinds of formations. The divine mountain will also become the core of the Sword Forest Desert. Qin Yun walked around the various palaces and helped some genius disciples inscribe runes to improve their martial spirits. He gave them a few pointers and spent a few days before returning to the Heavenly Palace Tower. He also told the elders of the various palaces about the Nine Heavens and told them to prepare, because it is very likely that they will have to face a powerful enemy from the Nine Heavens. Qin Long was only cursed. His life is not in danger. As long as he killed the person who cursed him or waited for the energy of the Nine Heaven Law curse to run out, Qin Long would recover. This is what Luo Yaofeng said. She came from the Nine Heavens and understood the Nine Heaven Law curse very well. However, she did not know who cursed him. Xiao Yuelan and Luo Yaofeng are together. She learned many details about the Sword Forest Desert from Luo Yaofeng and found out that Qin Yun killed many Dao God Realm seniors from the Nine Heavens. Luo Yaofeng also knows that Xiao Yuelan is Qin Yun's wife. She can also tell that Xiao Yuelan is an extremely strong woman, and she is also very special. She gave her a very special feeling, but she did not say it out loud. Xiao Yun, let elder sister Luo settle down in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Xiao Yuelan said. She comes from the Nine Heavens and understands the Nine Heavens very well. Those fellows from the Nine Heavens will definitely attack the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. With elder sister Luo here, we will be able to understand the enemy even more clearly. If Princess is willing to stay in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, I will naturally welcome you. Qin Yun's expression is somewhat solemn as he said. However, the Nine-Yang Divine Palace will definitely face many dangers in the future. Brother Yun, I'm not afraid. Luo Yaofeng smiled elegantly. Yuelan told me many things about you and the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. I really hope to join the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Then stay, Xiao Yuelan said with a smile. At this moment, the little palace spirit told Qin Yun that Feng Yu has arrived. Yuelan, Feng Yuang is here. Qin Yun said. Do you want to meet her? No, I want to bring elder sister Luo around and let her familiarize herself with the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Xiao Yuelan pulled Luo Yaofeng's hand and left the Heavenly Palace. Qin Yun originally wanted to go out and find Yunlong because a few days have passed and there is still no news of Yunlong. Chapter 2366. Feng Yu had personally come to either deliver the Saint Tao Divine Pill or to tell Qin Yun something. This time, she was wearing a fiery red robe and her long hair draped over her shoulders. Her beautiful face carried a trace of seriousness. Qin Yun had previously asked Xiao Yuelon to inform Yu Shangyun that he wanted to join forces with her, the Divine Moon Clan's emperor, to take down the Third Myriad Realm's Divine Sun and obtain the qualifications to enter the Myriad Realm's Divine Sunday. Yu Shangyun did not reply for a long time because she had many considerations. I heard about your father's situation from Yulan before. How is he now? Feng Yu asked. He's been hit by the Nine Heavens Law curse. Qin Yun sighed softly. The situation is still stable. There is no danger to his life. It's just that breaking the curse is rather troublesome. I need to find the person who cast the curse. Nine Heavens Law curse? I'll go back and ask Big Sister Shan-Yun. She might know something. Feng Yu had only heard of this and did not know much about the specifics. Thank you for your concern. Qin Yun nodded and asked, Feng Yu King, you didn't come here to deliver the Saint Tao Divine Pill, right? I don't need it anymore. Feng Yu shook her head lightly. I'm not here to deliver the Saint Tao Divine Pill. You can refine the Saint Tao Divine Pill. Big Sister Shan-Yun is very surprised and also very angry because she doesn't want to owe you anything, and now she has to rack her brains to think of a way to thank you. Qin Yun could imagine Yu Shangyun's headache and said with a smile, She doesn't need to thank me or anything. She just needs to take good care of my second sister and the others. You should know a little about her bad temper, right? She just doesn't want to owe you anything. You say it lightly, but she doesn't think so. Feng Yu shook her head. Then has she decided to join hands with me? Qin Yun asked again. The Third Myriad Realm's Divine Sun has not been occupied yet. If she has decided, then we can discuss the time to set off. She has decided to make a move. She said that she will come and talk to you in detail in the near future. Feng Yu said, Palace King, you being able to take down the Sword Forest Desert has truly surprised us. The Sword Forest Desert is a very good place. Your Divine Moon race can also build your city inside. Qin Yun said, let's talk about this later. Feng Yu suddenly took out a black bee's skin and placed it on the table. Qin Yun asked, What is this? Feng Yu spread out the piece of paper and said, Sister Xiang Yun said that this bee's skin recorded a very important cultivation technique. It was created by the ancestor of the Divine Moon race, but it has been encrypted, so it is impossible to see it directly. Oh. Qin Yun immediately touched the black bee's skin and felt a strange feeling. He said with a frown, It's a very special feeling. This kind of encryption method is very strong. It actually uses the combination of soul and bloodline, and then fuses many kinds of runes. Sister Xiang Yun said that if you can break through and allow her to obtain the inheritance of the ancestor, she will be able to break through and become stronger. She will thank you. Feng Yu sighed. If you can succeed, she will think of a way to repay you. Qin Yun looked at the black bee skin very seriously. It was as if he did not hear Feng Yu's words because he was deeply attracted by the bee's skin. Then I'll go back first. Feng Yu got up and said, Palace King, how much do you know about the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop? I don't know much. Qin Yun said with a frown. What's wrong? Sister Xiang Yun once came into contact with someone from the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. That person is very arrogant. At that time, Sister Xiang Yun and I went to meet that person. It's a young man. Feng Yu said, Young man? Qin Yun is even more baffled. And that person also said that he is not afraid of you at all because your weakness is in his hands. He can make you kneel and beg for mercy at any time and make you do anything for him. Feng Yu said worriedly, Palace King, that person is very powerful. You have to be careful. Qin Yun's expression gradually turned ice cold. Wasn't his weakness his family? His parents were in the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. All along, he had thought that with the shopkeeper Yunlong, his parents and foster father would be fine in the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. A few days ago, he learned from Yunlong that the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop had a few more bosses. Now, Feng Yu said that the Heavenly Law pawn shop also had a very arrogant young man. Feng Yu, why did the Divine Moon Clan's Empress go to see that young man? Did she want to pawn something? Qin Yun asked. She wanted to exchange, but it didn't work out. Sister Xiang Yin wants the Heavenly Law pawn shop to help decipher that B's skin, and the Heavenly Law pawn shop is also unable to decipher it. Feng Yu looked at the B's skin in Qin Yun's hand and said with concern, Palace King, you must be careful. Sister Xiang Yun said that the Heavenly Law pawn shop is very mysterious and very strong. And thank you for your concern. I will definitely pay attention. Qin Yun nodded. I've been very busy recently, and your father has encountered this kind of thing. Otherwise, I would have talked to you about Feng Yu. Feng Yu said with a smile. Qin Yun shook his head with a smile and said, I'll send you out. The Nine-Yang Divine Palace is still flying at high speed. Qin Yun brought Feng Yu outside and watched her fly away. After Feng Yu left, Qin Yun took out the Divine King Heavenly Seal and contacted Yunlong. From Feng Yu's mouth, he learned that there was someone in the Heavenly Law pawn shop who threatened him. He is now very worried about his mother. Back then, Qin Yun's mother died because of the Imperial Heaven diagram. After her death, her soul went to the Heavenly Law pawn shop and was reborn there. She even worked for the Heavenly Law pawn shop. Qin Yun also wants to see his mother. Although he has experienced many lifetimes before this one, it is only in this life that he has parents. The Imperial Heaven diagram has already become the Imperial Heaven heart, and the Imperial Heaven diagram itself has the Imperial Heaven divine technique. This divine technique is also in the Imperial Heaven heart. It requires a long period of time to comprehend in order to master the Imperial Heaven technique. Not long after, Yunlong arrived. Just as he landed, Qin Yun brought Yunlong and teleported to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace's Heavenly Palace. Yunlong stroked his long beard and said, Palace King, your mother is fine. I have already sent my own people and contacted your foster father. They will escort your mother here. Your own people? Qin Yun said with a sneer. Shopkeeper Yunlong, what exactly is going on with the Heavenly Law pawn shop? I heard that there's a young man in the Heavenly Law pawn shop. He said that he holds my weakness and can make me work like an ox or a horse for him at any time. Yunlong raised his eyebrows and said with a dry laugh, Palace King, some youngsters don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You should have seen quite a few of them, right? I have seen quite a few and killed quite a few. Qin Yun snorted. Palace King, don't worry. I will definitely give you a satisfactory explanation about your parents. I have worked very hard to investigate, and there will be results very soon. Please wait patiently, Yunlong said with a smile. Seeing Yunlong say these words, Qin Yun knew that Yunlong's side has not made any progress. What did my parents go to collect? Who did they come into contact with? I want to know these things, Qin Yun said coldly. Those few bosses of the Heavenly Law pawn shop, are they not willing to say anything? Yunlong let out a long sigh and said, All right, their general meaning is don't care about that Palace King. He won't be able to cause any trouble, even if that Palace King breaks the 10 statues and becomes a sacred god. So what? It's not very strong at all. Yunlong noticed that Qin Yun's expression is gradually filled with dense, killing intent and did not continue speaking. My parents have become like this. Do they not care? Qin Yun is very angry. Let's put it this way. Your parents went out this time because a boss arranged for your parents to go. Originally, your parents were going to work for the Heavenly Law pawn shop, but this time, they're working for one of the bosses. This is the boss's private matter. He is not willing to say, I can't do anything about it. Yunlong said with a helpless expression. So that's how it is. No wonder you have no progress. Qin Yun said with a cold snort. Then why aren't you telling me where the boss is? This kind of bastard, if I don't beat him up, he won't speak. This, Palace King, you really can't afford to offend those bosses. Yunlong shook his head. Then tell me, why can't I offend them? Are they very strong or what? Qin Yun is very disdainful. I don't know either. In short, they're very strong. I am thinking for your sake. If you provoke them, even if you don't die, you'll be sealed. Yunlong said, You are still too weak at this stage. If you were a Tao god, You might have the power to fight. Qin Yun's eyes turned. He thought of something and said, "All right then, quickly bring my mother here. If anything happens to her, I will flatten the Heavenly Law pawn shop." He waved his hand and teleported Yun Long outside. The bosses of the Heavenly Law pawn shop are very strong, and they have their eyes on him. Qin Yun knows that he has a few more enemies, and he knows nothing about their situation. Now that he has entered the Sword Forest Desert, he might be a bit safer. Otherwise, the bosses of the Heavenly Law pawn shop will destroy the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun knows that he can't get any information from Yun Long, so he can only look for Tian Dao Zi. Tian Dao Zi was once the shopkeeper of the Heavenly Law pawn shop. Although he has become very strange now, his mouth is still relatively easy to pry open. Qin Yun arrived outside the Nanyang Divine Palace and stood at the top of a large hall. The large hall is currently flying, bathed in the beautiful sunset glow. Just as Qin Yun is about to go look for Tian Dao Zi, he discovered that the Heavenly Law altar is slowly following behind him. This Tian Dao Zi knows that I am looking for him? Qin Yun is amazed in his heart, then flew towards the Heavenly Law altar. The Heavenly Law altar is like a huge mountain. It is moving very quickly on the ground, rampaging and crashing. After Qin Yun landed on the top of the Heavenly Law altar, it also stopped. Tian Dao Zi's face has no hair at all. He has made himself bald. He looks extremely stupid. He is doing this just in case, to prevent someone from using his hair to cast a curse. It must be said that the Nine Heaven Law curse is very strong, so even Tian Dao Zi is afraid. "You know that I am looking for you?" Qin Yun asked. "Heaven knows, earth knows, you know and I know," Tian Dao Zi said with mischievous smile. "Palace King, why are you looking for me? How many bosses does the Heavenly Law pawn shop have?" Qin Yun asked. Tian Dao Zi laughed as if he is mocking Qin Yun. He said with smile, "Now you know about those bastard bosses of the Heavenly Law pawn shop? It seems like those guys are not good people." Qin Yun cursed in low voice. "That bastard Yun Long. He actually did not tell me earlier. I have seen Yun Long. He is not as good as me as a shopkeeper. He is also not as handsome as me. I am the most handsome shopkeeper in the history of the Heavenly Law pawn shop," Tian Dao Zi said. Chapter 2367. When Qin Yun mentioned the heaven-locking chain, Tian Dao Zi is somewhat afraid because he used the heaven-locking chain to trick Qin Yun before. Earlier, Tian Dao Zi said that he wanted to thank Qin Yun for sending away Shimen Dazhuang and Pippi Pig. Later, he gave the heaven-locking chain to Qin Yun, which was originally meant for Qin Yun. Qin Yun will remember this debt in his heart. Back then, he wanted to bring Pippi Pig here and crazily fart at Tian Dao Zi. "Palace King, don't be impatient. I will definitely tell you everything I know," Tian Dao Zi said with a silly smile. His current attitude has become extremely good. Qin Yun secretly admired Pippi Pig's smelly fart. To be able to make Heavenly Dao Zi so afraid, the deterrence of the fart is quite strong. He planned to find an opportunity to let Yun Long have a taste of Pippi Pig's smelly fart, then quickly speak. Qin Yun took out a chair and sat down, then crossed his legs and looked at Tian Dao Zi. Tian Dao Zi sat on the ground and said, "The Heavenly Dao pawn shop belongs to the Heavenly Dao. It's mainly used to recover some heaven-defying items or things that are born from the world. Generally speaking, these things will destroy the order of the Heavenly Dao and destroy the balance. The Heavenly Law pawn shop belongs to the Heavenly Law. Then why are there so many bosses?" Qin Yun suddenly felt very displeased. Logically speaking, he had the heart of Imperial Heaven and the Heavenly Eye. He should be considered half a Heavenly Dao and also half a Heavenly Dao pawn shop's boss. However, the Heavenly Law pawn shop was occupied by several bosses. Before the Heavenly Dao underwent nirvana, the Heavenly Dao pawn shop was handed over to a few fellow apprentices to manage. Later on, after the Heavenly Dao underwent nirvana, the Heavenly Dao pawn shop was also taken over by those fellow apprentices. Tian Dao Zi sighed. In other words, the Heavenly Tao pawn shop belongs to the Heavenly Tao? Qin Yun said with a frown. Palace King, the Heavenly Tao has undergone nirvana, and there has been no news of him being reborn. I suspect that the Heavenly Tao felt that there was a new candidate to replace him, so he underwent nirvana and no longer wielded the Heavenly Tao. Tian Daozi chuckled and said, I think you are a very suitable candidate. Perhaps you are the Heavenly Way. It's just that you don't know. Qin Yun had such suspicions before. After all, many of the things he had on him were heaven-defying items. Yet, he had only received heavenly punishment. After so many heavenly punishments, he was still alive, and now he was getting stronger and stronger. Many of the things he had mastered seemed to be closely related to the Heavenly Tao. Seeing Qin Yun pondering, Heavenly Tao Child said with smile, Heavenly Tao has no enemies. You can become an enemy of Heavenly Tao and not die. That means you can contend against Heavenly Tao. Only Heavenly Tao itself can contend against itself. This is too mysterious. Qin Yun waved his hand. I still haven't figured out my own identity. Perhaps you're the Heavenly Tao's clone, but you don't have the Heavenly Tao's memories and consciousness. Tian Daozi said, there are many clones that do not have the memories of the original body and at the same time maintain an independent personality. Qin Yun had seen quite a number of such avatars. For example, Star God's clone Yu Shetian, Xian Rujing's clone Xian Lingxue, and Xiakiru's clone Xian Yinyan. They all have their own consciousness and personality. Even so, there is still some sort of connection between the clone and the main body. If your hypothesis is correct, then it means that my main body did not have enough time to pass on the memories of the main body to me before it was finished. So even though I don't have the memories of the main body, I am still my main body? Qin Yun became more and more amazed as he thought about it. This is just my speculation. Tian Daozi shrugged and said, the only thing I can prove that you have a close relationship with the Heavenly Tao is that this altar and I were created by you. My name is Tian Daozi, and I'm the son of the Heavenly Tao. If you are truly Heavenly Tao, then you should be my father. Scram, I don't want a fool like you as my son. Qin Yun curled his lips and said. Tian Daozi said with smile, Palace King, the Heavenly Tao pawn shop should be yours. If those bosses got close to you and determined that you are Heavenly Tao, it would be even more proof. Have you seen what Heavenly Tao looks like? Qin Yun asked. I heard that Heavenly Tao was once a person with 10 Tao images. He broke the curse of 10 Tao images and became very powerful. Then he established the order of Heavenly Tao. Tian Daozi said, I have never seen him. I can only recognize him based on my intuition. What's going on with those senior and junior brothers? Heavenly Tao has senior and junior brothers? In that case, Heavenly Tao has a master. Wouldn't master be very strong? Qin Yun stroked his chin. He feels that there are too many things worth pondering. I don't know. Heavenly Tao's senior and junior brothers must have cultivated together with Heavenly Tao. Later on, Heavenly Tao's cultivation was successful, and he supported his senior and junior brothers. Tian Daozi said, Qin Yun feels that those bosses must know a lot about him, otherwise they would not look down on him, a person who has cultivated 10 Tao images. It is very likely that they have grasped his weak spot. He pondered deeply and thought of Mog. Mog is Xiekiru's mother. Back then, it was Mog who took out many things from the Heavenly Tao pawn shop and stuffed them into the Nine-Sun Divine Spirit. Maybe Mog is obeying someone's order and secretly helping him. The Nine-Sun Divine Spirit still has not opened the 8th and 9th pearl. And the 7th pearl that was opened earlier allowed Qin Yun to obtain the Heavenly Imperial Heart. It allowed Qin Yun to obtain the Heart of Imperial Heaven, which was also a very crucial item. Palace King, you asked about the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. Did those bosses threaten you? Tian Daozi asked. Yes. Qin Yun told Tian Daozi about his parents' encounter. After Tian Daozi finished listening, he ridiculed Yunlong and said with a smile, This guy Yunlong is really scared to death. It's not his fault. Who told him not to be as handsome as me? It's normal that his ability is not as good as mine. Qin Yin feels that if Yin Long heard this, he would definitely tear Tian Dao Zi apart on the spot. Tian Dao Zi, what do you think about the attack on my parents? Qin Yin only wants to find those bosses, kill them one by one, and then take back the Heavenly Dao pawn shop. I still don't know. If your father was under the 9 heaven law curse, then you must be careful. Tian Dao Zi's expression changed. What? Why should I be careful? Qin Yin hastily asked. Your parents were under the 9 heaven law curse. To be able to curse them means that they have enough strength to kill your parents. But they did not kill your parents, and instead let them return to your side. Don't you think it's strange? Tian Dao Zi said. Qin Yin carefully thought about it, and could not help but feel horrified. Yin Long said before that Qin Long ran to the 9 Yang Divine Palace on his own. It is indeed very strange that Qin Long could run back after being cursed. Palace King, you are the target of their curse. I suspect that the bosses of the Heavenly Dao pawn shop joined hands with the 9 heaven law curse great masters to attack you. Tian Dao Zi said. Tian Dao Zi long ago removed all the hair on his body to guard against the 9 heaven law curse. Therefore, he is very familiar with the 9 heaven law curse. 9 heaven law curse can be cursed with hair. After your parents were cursed, maybe they implanted their consciousness into them. And this consciousness is very simple. It wants to take your hair or the hair of the people around you. Tian Dao Zi said, It seems like they are targeting me. Qin Yin narrowed his eyes and said with sneer, This 9 heaven law curse is the key. Do you really think this thing is invincible? I can definitely break the curse. Tian Dao Zi shook his head and said, No one can break it. 9 heaven law curse is very strong. Heavenly Dao once got hit by it. Finally, he could only abandon his body and refine a new body. Moreover, he had to burn his 9 souls and 9 spirits to completely remove the curse. Did Heavenly Dao tell you this? Qin Yun asked. Indeed. Tian Dao Zi nodded and said, By collecting your blood, they can also cast a curse. But when the curse is cast, you can sense it in advance and can resist it. And it is very difficult to detect it with hair. I don't believe it is so evil. Qin Yin decided to research the 9 heaven law curse in depth and figure out how to break it. Actually, even if they obtain hair, they will have to pay a great price to cast the curse. They won't easily cast the curse. Tian Dao Zi said again. Qin Yin walked back and forth and asked, Apart from shaving off all the hair, is there no other way to guard against it? Divine Moon Race has it. Divine Moon Race women cultivate a secret method. Their hair cannot be used to cast curse. Men can't cultivate this kind of secret method. However, the principle behind how they guard against 9 heaven law curse can be researched. Tian Dao Zi said. Qin Yun's eyes lit up. He believes that Yu Shangyun must know a lot about 9 heaven law curse. After all, Yu Shangyun is a race emperor. And Divine Moon Race stayed in the 9 heavens. Divine Moon Race women were treated as the best sacrifice. They often fight against the powers of the 9 heavens, so their experience in dealing with 9 heaven law curse must be very rich. Heavenly Dao has never researched how to guard against 9 heaven law curse. Qin Yin wants to obtain more clues. Yes, I have. Shaving off all the hair on my body can guard against it. Tian Dao Zi said with smile. This method is very useful. Qin Yin did not continue asking. Instead, he asked about a very important matter. Tian Dao Zi, do you know where the few bosses of the Heavenly Dao pawn shop are? Quickly tell me. I don't know. The Heavenly Dao pawn shop is constantly moving. If you want to know, you should go find the space god. Maybe he can sense space fluctuation and track the Heavenly Dao pawn shop. Tian Dao Zi said. The space god is Qin Yun's good friend. Qin Yun has a communication talisman to contact the space god. He also plans to meet with the divine chief through the space god and understand the recent movements of the myriad realms divine court. Palace King, the Heavenly Dao pawn shop should be yours. Those few bosses are not kind and should be punished. Because they are Heavenly Dao's senior and junior brothers, they won't be punished by heavenly punishment. Furthermore, they have very strong strength. You must be careful. I know. I will go back first. I have taken down the Sword Forest Desert. Are you going to the Sword Forest Desert? Qin said. I won't go. When you need to see me, I will always coincidentally appear. Don't worry. Tian Daozi laughed and said goodbye. He wanted to kick Qin flying, but Qin immediately jumped up and flew away from the heavenly altar. Then he returned to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace's heavenly palace space. Qin Long is in a heavenly palace space. Qin feels that it is necessary to keep an eye on his father. He added a few seals to the small courtyard where Qin Long lives. It is very difficult to enter and exit. Xiao Yun, those bosses don't dare to face you directly. That's why they are using this method. What are they afraid of? Ling Yuner said. Chapter 2368. Space God and many other gods returned to Myriad Realms' divine court during this period of time. Qin only learned that Myriad Realms' divine court has very important arrangements. That's why they returned. As for what it is, he doesn't know. He guessed that it is an internal matter of Myriad Realms' divine court. Maybe because of the appearance of the third Myriad Realms' divine son, they obtained the support of Myriad Realms' divine son, allowing them to increase their cultivation and strength in a short period of time. One must know that Myriad Realms' divine desolate has many experts. Myriad Realms' divine court's god-rank gods are considered very strong among ordinary humans in Myriad Realms' divine desolate. But when facing those strong races, they can only be hung up and beaten, unable to maintain order in Myriad Realms' divine desolate. The existence of Myriad Realms' divine court is to maintain order, but they don't have enough strength. Only God Chief, Sword God Xia Wufeng, and a few other slightly stronger gods have good strength. Other gods are not so good. Qin Yun quickly contacted Space God through the communication talisman. Big brother, I have an urgent matter to ask you for help. Can I delay you now? Qin Yun communicated with Space God through the communication talisman. No delay. If there is anything important, just say it, Space God said with smile. Qin Yun simply told Space God about the situation of Heavenly Law Pawn Shop and asked him to pay attention to it. Heavenly Law Pawn Shop frequently moves. It will definitely cause a lot of fluctuation. Moreover, it will be very frequent. With Space God's ability, he will definitely be able to notice it. As long as he can sense the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop, he can immediately find it and then mark it. After being marked by Space God, it means that he can teleport to that place at will and then bring Qin Yun there. I know. I will do my best to help you. Space God said. All right. What is the situation with God Chief? Qin Yun asked. Myriad Realms' divine court is holding a big seclusion. He is doing his best to gather all the god-rank gods that can return and let them enter seclusion cultivation. Myriad Realms' divine son will also help them. Space God said. That's good. After this, your strength should be able to become even stronger, right? Qin Yun said. Yes, that's why it is very important. But it won't be of much use to me. I am already very strong. Space God said. After the divine judge finishes his business, I will go find him and talk about the third Myriad Realms' divine son. Qin Yun said. The third Myriad Realms' divine son was more important. Jiang Jiuquan and the other factions of the Nine Heavens celestial race would fight for it. Qin Yun speculated that at that time, there might be even more people coming from the Nine Heavens. After ending the call with the god of space, Qin Yun began to refine Saint Dao pills. He wanted to start cultivating the third sacred heaven Dao image and step into the Dao God realm as soon as possible. Cultivating the sacred heavenly Dao image is very difficult for Qin Yun, because even if he uses pills to upgrade the Dao image, he still needs to find an opportunity to make the Dao image evolve into the sacred heavenly Dao image. Next, let's cultivate the heavenly lion image. The main reason why Qin Yun cultivated the heavenly lion Dao image is because of his heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron, as well as the heavenly lion martial arts he mastered. They are all very strong. If the heavenly lion Dao image was upgraded, the nether realm heavenly lion he summoned would definitely be stronger. He hasn't summoned the nether realm heavenly lion for a long time, mainly because the nether realm heavenly lion's current strength couldn't keep up with him. When he was fighting, even if he summoned the nether realm heavenly lion, he would still be killed very quickly. Qin Yun's speed in refining Saint Dao pills is relatively fast, much faster than Yushang Yun's. The effect is only slightly worse than Yushang Yun's, and it doesn't have Yushang Yun's unique fragrance. He spent a few days using the Nether Sun's special ability to duplicate the medicinal energy needed to refine Saint Dao pills. The Nether Sun's ability to duplicate energy is very heaven-defying. As Qin Yun's cultivation became stronger, the duplication ability also gradually increased. Refining Saint Dao pills requires 6 kinds of medicinal energy, which Qin Yun poured into 6 pearls. When he needed to refine pills, he would extract them from the 6 pearls and pour them into the pill transformation heavenly furnace to refine pills. Pill refining is very fast and very easy because the pill transformation heavenly furnace can quickly condense pills. Qin Yun used the 9 Dragons heavenly origin formation to condense energy, allowing the pill transformation heavenly furnace to absorb enough energy to operate on its own. Very quickly, Qin Yun used the pill transformation heavenly furnace to refine 6 Saint Dao pills. In just a few days, he was able to refine 6 pills. Qin Yun is very satisfied. Previously, when he was cultivating the second sacred heavenly Dao image, he needed to eat 3 pills. And now, he would definitely have to double it. He had to eat 6 pills. He just had 6 pills in his hand. Just as he was about to eat it, the little temple spirit told him that there was a woman wearing black armor and a helmet. She was completely wrapped up and was looking for him. This woman did not say who she was. She was very strong. Just outside the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, there was a very powerful aura. She said that she had urgent matters to discuss with Qin Yun. Qin Yun immediately knew that it was Yushang Yun. She really came to find me. Qin Yun felt that it was somewhat funny. Yushang Yun had previously said that she didn't want to see him again and even told him to hide far away. Little palace spirit, teleport her to the heaven secret room. Qin Yun said, "All right." The little palace spirit also began to move. Qin Yun, on the other hand, dressed himself up properly. He changed into clean white clothes, making himself look handsome and somewhat delicate. The heaven secret room is very large and the decorations are very comfortable and elegant. There are some tables and chairs. Upon entering, one would feel an indescribable sense of comfort. This was meticulously arranged by Qin Yun back then. The array formations and all kinds of furniture here are all made of special materials that can affect people's soul and spirit. It can make people feel a kind of comfort that comes from the depths of their soul. When Qin Yun was teleported to the heaven's secret room, he slightly increased his breathing. He thought that he would be sucking in Yushang Yun's intoxicating and wonderful body fragrance. However, he did not smell it, causing him to feel very disappointed. "Hello, Divine Moon Clan Emperor, we meet again," Qin Yun said with a smile. "I came to see you this time for a special reason. Otherwise, I wouldn't even want to see you." Yushang Yun saw Qin Yun's mischievous smile and coldly snorted, "Don't think too highly of yourself." Qin Yun promptly spread his hands and said, No, I'm very happy that you can come to see me. In the current situation of the Divine Desolate, if we can join hands, it will be beneficial to both sides. You have such a big family like the Divine Moon Clan, and I have my Nine-Yang Divine Palace. That's right. We have common interests, so we really need to strengthen our cooperation." Yushang Yun's tone was somewhat bitter as she snorted. How did you refine the Saint Dao Dan?" Speaking of the Saint Dao Dan, Qin Yun immediately took out the 6 pills he had just refined and handed them to Yushang Yun on his palm. "I just refined this. I was just about to eat it to cultivate," Qin Yun said with a smile. "Speaking of which, I'm really grateful to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that there was such a pill." Seeing these 6 Saint Dao Dan, Yushang Yun was even more shocked. This was because it was extremely difficult for her to refine them herself. Every once in a while, she could only refine 1 or 2. And Qin Yun had produced so many in one go. "I hate you." Yushang Yun turned her head away, It wasn't easy for me to think of giving you the Saint Dao Dan. I really don't know what to give you now. A guy like you doesn't lack anything. Qin Yin was startled, then said with a smile, Emperor of the Divine Moon Clan, giving me the Saint Dao Dan is equivalent to teaching me how to refine this kind of pill. That's enough. I'm really grateful to you. All right, do you still have any Saint Dao Dan? The Saint Dao Dan you refined is more fragrant, much more delicious than mine. After Feng you brought your Saint Dao Dan back for me to see, I didn't continue refining it. Yu Yun said, although the one you refined is not as good as mine, it's only a little bit worse. Your refining speed is also very fast, so compared to you, I'm far inferior. But I feel that your pill has a very good fragrance. I can't refine it. Qin Yin shook his head and sighed. Your fragrance is very special. It smells especially comfortable. He was still infatuated with the fragrance of Yu Yun's body. Yu Yun took out a small jade bottle and handed it to Qin Yin. She said, this is for you. Just add a little when you refine the pill. Qin Yin took it and opened the lid. He smelled a very strong fragrance. It was from Yu Yun's body. He immediately realized that this was a small bottle of heavenly blood, and it was a very dense blue-colored heavenly blood. This kind of heavenly blood contained a very strong silver divine moon power. This was Yu Yun's blood. This is your blood? Qin Yin said in shock. Yes, I have a very special kind of blood in my body. It's in my bones. Yu Yun nodded and asked, I heard that your parents were both struck by the Nine Heavens Law curse. Is that right? Only my father has returned. My mother is still on the way. Qin Yin said, don't worry, your parents will be fine. The Nine Heavens Law curse can't kill them. It can only make their souls fall into a deep slumber. Yu Yun's tone had also become much more gentle, not as overbearing as before. Thank you for your concern. Qin Yin revealed a smile and said, when your mother returns, get Yuelon to contact the Guanghan Palace. When the time comes, I will personally bring her back to the Divine Moon. I will use my Divine Moon Clan's secret technique to help her undo the Nine Heavens Law curse. Yu Yun said, as for your father, there's nothing I can do. Our secret technique is only suitable for women. For men, it's useless. That's great. Thank you so much. Qin Yin appeared somewhat excited. If he could help his mother recover in advance, that would be very good. You're welcome. When Yu Yun saw that she could help Qin Yin, she secretly heaved a sigh of relief. She did not want to owe Qin Yin anything. Qin Yin said with a smile, I will definitely do my best to help decipher the secret manual left behind by your Divine Moon ancestor. Just do your best. I don't have much hope anyway. Yu Yun said. Suddenly, there was a weak spatial fluctuation in the Heaven's secret chamber. Xiao Yuelon brought Luo Yaofeng over. Sister Yun, Xiao Yuelon shouted with a smile. Yu Yun, who was sitting on a chair, suddenly stood up and looked at Luo Yaofeng beside Xiao Yuelon. She shouted in shock, It's you. Chapter 2369. Qin Yin and Xiao Yuelon felt relieved when they saw that there was no enmity between Yu Yun and Luo Yaofeng. They were worried that Yu Yun and Luo Yaofeng would fight. Xiao Yuelon never expected that Luo Yaofeng and Yu Yun would know each other. She had previously told Luo Yaofeng that Yu Yun was the Divine Moon Clan's empress. Luo Yaofeng also expressed his interest in the Divine Moon Clan's great emperor and wanted to meet her. That's why Xiao Yuelon asked the little palace spirit to teleport them over. Big sisters, sit down. Xiao Yuelon smiled and pulled their hands, letting them sit down. After Luo Yaofeng recovered from her shock, a charming smile appeared on her beautiful face. She chuckled and said, I didn't expect you to become the Divine Moon Tribe's emperor. I thought you were dead. I was sad for a while, but it turns out that you've been here for a long time. It seems like you're doing well. I thought you would become neither human nor ghost. Seeing that you can also come here and look like a proper person, I'm still very happy. Yu Yun's tone also became much gentler. At the very least, she was not as cold as she was to Qin Yin. Instead, she gave off an imposing aura. Why don't you guys chat here? Let's retreat. Xiao Yuelon walked over and pulled Qingyun back. Brother Ayun, don't worry, she and I are friends. Luo Yaofeng nodded at Qin Yun, indicating that he wanted to talk to Yu Shangyun alone. Xiao Yun, let's go, Xiao Yuelon said with a smile, then let the little palace spirit teleport them out of the heaven's secret chamber. When Yu Shangyun saw Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon leave, she asked, "How did you know that guy?" I don't know if it was a coincidence or if it was fate. In short, after I met him, my fate changed greatly. Otherwise, I might have already died. When Luo Yaofeng talked about meeting Qin Yun, a sweet smile appeared on her face. Can't you survive in the 9 heavens anymore? Yu Shangyun asked. It's not that. I'm tired of the dark environment of the 9 heavens, so I want to do something to change the 9 heavens. However, I overestimated myself. Luo Yaofeng sighed softly. It's good that your soul is still here. Yu Shangyun said, you can stay in the God wasteland in peace. Do you want to join my Divine Moon clan? Luo Yaofeng laughed. You change your name to Yu Shangyun? I never thought that you, the 9 heavens goddess, would become the empress of the Divine Moon tribe. I was originally from the Divine Moon race. Yu Shangyun snorted. Aren't you also the 9 heavens goddess? You are still the Shadow Divine King. But now you call him Big Brother Ayun. You are a famous female butcher in the 9 heavens. I am not used to you pretending to be so gentle and pure. Luo Yaofeng covered her mouth and giggled. She said softly, Sister Shangyun, as the Empress of the Divine Moon race, did you help Brother Ayun break the 10 image demon curse? I was the one who helped him break the 10 curses. Why? Yu Shangyun did not hide anything. As far as I know, if you want to help him fuse with the Divine Moon bloodline, you will need to sacrifice your chastity. Are you and Brother Yun really? Luo Yaofeng's beautiful eyes shone with a strange light as she smiled ambiguously. No, Yu Shangyun denied. I created other secret methods that can help him fuse. I don't believe it. Others might not understand the Divine Moon bloodline, but I do. Your Divine Moon clan's progenitor is also my master. Don't you know that? Luo Yaofeng said with a charming smile. So what if I've dedicated myself? It's just a stinky body. By doing this, I can save the lives of so many of my sisters. I think it's worth it, and I won't lose anything. Yu Shanyu knew that she could not hide it anymore and coldly snorted. Luo Yaofeng chuckled. Indeed, it's nothing. Brother Ayun is a good person. Yu Shangyun walked over and pinched Luo Yaofeng's face. She said, remember, you only need to know about this. Don't tell anyone. Does Yulan know? Luo Yaofeng asked. I don't know. In short, that girl Yulan is crazy. She wants to match me with her man. Yu Shangyun lightly stomped her feet. Yulan is the 9 sun goddess. She has some sort of relationship with us, the 9 heavens goddess. She should be considered our junior. Luo Yaofeng laughed. I quite like her. Yu Shangyun sneered. I think you like her man, right? Then you have to line up. Your big brother Yun is a playboy. Then do I have to line up behind you? Luo Yaofeng chuckled. Do I, Yu Shangyun, need a lineup? Yu Shangyun sneered. Don't think too much about it. I don't have any feelings for him. We have already forgotten about that matter. We are only cooperating now. That's good. Sister Shangyun, you're the only one missing from my line. Luo Yaofeng chuckled. Brother Ayun is so good. Just line up. You're crazy. Yu Shangyun snorted. Why don't you take off your helmet? I want to see you. Luo Yaofeng said. Yu Shangyun also took off her helmet. Luo Yaofeng looked at Yu Shangyun's beautiful face and was lost in thought. Her eyes were slightly blurred and a strange emotion surfaced. You're still as beautiful as before. No, you're even more beautiful than before. Luo Yaofeng could not help but walk over and kiss Yu Shangyun's jade face. Yu Shangyun did not resist her kissing her face. So fragrant. Luo Yaofeng took a deep breath and said with a smile, even a woman like me wants to go crazy for you, let alone a man. Brother Yun is truly blessed with women. You're wrong. That bastard has no interest in me at all. Back then, I was the one who was tough. Yu Shangyun said. Really? It seemed like I can't just line up. Luo Yaofeng giggled. Then, His expression suddenly changed and became very serious. He said, Sister Shangyun, how much do you know about Brother Ayun? Is he a man worth entrusting your life to? I don't know. In short, if you're in danger, he'll save you even if he has to risk his life. Yu Shangyun said, That's enough. Luo Yao Feng smiled in satisfaction and said, If you're in danger, will he save you? Yes. Yu Shangyun answered with certainty. She didn't know why she was so sure. She could not help but think back to when Qin Yun was unable to break the 10 devil curse. His strength was very weak, but he was not afraid of a strong enemy. He was determined to save Yang Shiyu and Yu Wulan. This inexplicably touched her heart. She suddenly felt that even if she did not help Qin Yun break the 10 statues back then, Qin Yun would definitely have been able to save those women who were about to be sacrificed to the heavens. However, she was unable to do it herself. Just this point alone made her admire Qin Yun greatly. Then, if you and I are in danger, which one will he save first? Luo Yao Feng asked mischievously. Nonsense. Of course he'll save me first. Yu Shangyun said confidently. If I don't believe it. You're so fierce to people. He definitely won't save you. Luo Yao Feng smiled as she stroked her hair and said with a chuckle, But I'm different. No matter what. I've slept with him and kissed him. Yu Shangyun sneered. What about you? You just call him Big Brother Yin. According to my understanding of him, although he knows a lot of women, there aren't many who can climb into his bed. Just like I said before, you have to queue up. Luo Yao Feng seemed to be very happy as she chuckled and said, Sister Shangyun, does that mean you treat him as your man? I remember that you don't have any feelings. Let's not talk about this anymore. What's your situation now? Can you quickly recover to your peak? Yu Shangyun asked. I need you to protect the divine moon with me. I'll be able to recover my strength in 3 years at the earliest. Luo Yao Feng also became serious and said, Is the divine moon of the heavens very important to you? Most of your brother Yun's women are in the divine moon of the heavens. And our divine moon race and the divine moon of the heavens will face a calamity. Yu Shangyun said, You don't want your brother Yun to fight with his life on the line, do you? All right, I thought that coming to the God Wasteland would be peaceful and relaxed. Now, it seems that I have to quickly find the feeling from back then. Luo Yao Feng faintly sighed. When Yuro returns, I'll bring you to see her. Yu Shangyun said. Yuro. Luo Yao Feng was puzzled. Who is she? Tian Shiro. She's also the 9 sun goddess now. Yu Shangyun said. She's very mysterious, and her whereabouts are erratic. She's doing something very important and might be related to the entire 9 heavens and the God Wasteland. Tian Shiro. She actually reincarnated into the 9 sun goddess. Luo Yao Feng is very shocked. Your original name is Tian Shixiang. She and you were born at the same time as the 9 heavens goddesses, right? Yu Shangyun nodded. She is now the big sister Kiru in your brother Yun's heart. According to what I learned from Yulan, Qin Yun was able to grow up to now because of her great help. Luo Yao Feng said with a mischievous smile. You two Tian Shiro came here from the 9 heavens to find a man, right? In the end, you found brother Yun. Come, I'll pass the divine moon bloodline to you now. Yu Shangyun walked over and vigorously tore apart Luo Yao Feng's clothes. Aya, you're bullying me. Luo Yao Feng cried out in alarm and laughed. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are together. The two of them are studying the black bee skin of the Moon Clan's primogenitor. Xiao Yun, I was the one who asked Sister Shangyun to find you to unlock this secret manual. Xiao Yuelan said with a smile. If you succeed, Sister Shangyun will definitely be very happy. I can't even open the Heavenly Law pawn shop. I don't have the confidence. Qin Yun shook his head. What the hell is the Heavenly Law pawn shop? My little husband is much more powerful than the Heavenly Law pawn shop. Xiao Yuelan said with a charming smile. Xiao Yun, when Brother Space finds the Heavenly Law pawn shop, remember to bring me along. I'll join hands with you and beat up those bosses. Qin Yun looked at the black beast skin. His heavenly eyes shot out 2 beams of blue light that landed on the black beast skin. Xiao Yuelan watched from the side and suddenly shouted in alarm. Xiao Yun, there's movement. The bee's skin changed color just now, and there seems to be runes on the surface. Qin Yun is very alarmed. He never expected that he would succeed just by using his heavenly eyes. This reminded him of the Imperial Heaven diagram from back then. This sealed bee skin seems to be the same kind of thing as the Imperial Heaven diagram. Qin Yun continued to inject powerful Imperial Heaven divine power through his heavenly eyes. Very quickly, he discovered that the beast's skin seems to be absorbing the Imperial Heaven divine power. After absorbing the Imperial Heaven divine power, all the runes on the surface will appear. Being able to see the runes, the rest will be much easier. Yuelon, go find Sister Shangyun and tell her not to go so fast. Maybe I'll succeed very soon, Qin Yun hurriedly said. All right. Xiao Yuelon nodded and then asked the little palace spirit to teleport her to the Heaven Secret Room. After arriving at the Heaven Secret Room, Xiao Yuelon is stunned. Her beautiful eyes are wide open as she greedily looked at the place. Yu Shangyun and Luo Yaofeng are wearing thin clothes. The two of them are sitting cross-legged on a soft snow-white bee skin. Their palms are tightly pressed together as if they are cultivating. Chapter 2370. Xiao Yun told me to tell Sister Shangyun that he said that the ancestors' inheritance can be broken and told you to wait a little longer before leaving. As Xiao Yuelon spoke, she glanced at Yu Shangyun and Luo Yaofeng's snow-white body that was covered by a thin veil. Her beautiful eyes looked like they were about to pop out. If not for Yu Shangyun and Luo Yaofeng being very strong women, she might have already gone over. I got it, Yu Shangyun said. Yuelon, between me and Sister Shangyun, who do you think has a better figure? Luo Yaofeng said with a sweet smile when she saw Xiao Yuelon's beautiful eyes flickering with a misty autumn wave. All good. Xiao Yuelon giggled, then walked over and asked, What are you guys doing? I'm passing the divine moon bloodline, divine origin to her. Yu Shangyun said. Then why are you guys wearing so little? Xiao Yuelon felt that Luo Yaofeng was easier to bully, so she came to Luo Yaofeng's side. However, her eyes were looking at Yu Shangyun, because her bloodline divine origin is very strong. When it's released, it's very hot. Too many clothes are not good for heat dissipation. Luo Yaofeng chuckled and said, Yuelon, touch my stomach and you'll know how hot it is. Xiao Yuelon immediately extended her hand to touch Luo Yaofeng's stomach. Indeed, she felt a ball of scorching energy inside. It was extremely scalding. She did not randomly touch it. She only felt the scorching heat and retracted her hand. Then, she kissed Luo Yaofeng's burning hot face. Your face is also very hot, Xiao Yuelon said. Yuelon, quickly go and kiss Sister Shangyun. If you only kiss me and not her, she'll be jealous. Luo Yaofeng laughed. Xiao Yuelon stuck out her tongue and giggled. She went over and kissed Yu Shangyun's fragrant face. It was also burning hot. When she was kissing, she pretended to accidentally touch Yu Shangyun's upper body and then gently caressed her thigh. How could Yu Shangyun and Luo Yaofeng not see through her small actions? After taking a little bit of convenience, Xiao Yuelon was satisfied and hurriedly left the secret room. Seeing that Xiao Yuelon had left, Luo Yaofeng said with a smile, Sister Shangyun, Brother Yun knows about our current situation. Do you think he will come over to take a look? If it's someone else, I can't guarantee it. But if it's Qin Yun, I'm very sure that he won't come. Yu Shangyun said, I don't believe that the charm of our two great beauties can't conquer Brother Yun. Luo Yaofeng pouted lightly. He will definitely come. Looks like you don't know him well enough. Then let's make a bet. He will definitely not come over. Yu Shangyun was very confident. Fine, if he comes over, then it's my win. What are you going to do then? Luo Yaofeng smiled. If you win, then I'll capture your brother Yun and let you do whatever you want to him. Yu Shangyun laughed and said, How about it? Sure. Luo Yaofeng suddenly felt a little excited. If you lose, then you'll have to listen to my orders obediently. Yu Shangyun said. She was still a little worried that Luo Yaofeng would not listen to her and make a mistake at the crucial moment. All right, Luo Yaofeng also agreed. The person who will come down later might be Yulan. This girl will definitely want to come again. Yu Shangyun shook her head and smiled. After Xiao Yuelon came out of the Heaven Secret Chamber, she came to Qin Yun's room and said excitedly, Xiao Yun, guess what I just saw? Qin Yun was using his heavenly eye to activate the black beast skin and obtain the inheritance of the Moon Clan's primogeniture. What can you see? Isn't it just two women? Qin Yun did not think too much about it and said casually, Sister Shang Yun is helping Sister Luo obtain the divine moon bloodline. Xiao Yuelon shouted. They have entered a state of joint cultivation and are not wearing much clothes. Oh, Qin Yun replied. He was not surprised. When Yu Shangyun transferred the divine moon bloodline divine origin, it would indeed produce a very high amount of heat. Qin Yun had experienced it before. Xiao Yun, do you want to go take a look? When the time comes, just say that you accidentally passed by. Xiao Yuelon laughed tenderly. Sister Luo will definitely not hit you, and you are about to break the secret manual given to you by Sister Shangyun. She will at most be angry. You go, Qin Yun said with a smile. Yuelon, if I go over, I will disturb them. If an accident happens, they might be injured. All right then, I'll go talk to them. Xiao Yuelon immediately left the room and went to the Heaven's Secret Chamber. Qin Yun is now at a very crucial step. He has already made many runes appear on the black beast's skin. There are still at least half of the runes that have not appeared, Qin Yun said with a frown. Could it be that the rest are all dark runes? He is still unable to be sure, so he can only continue. Through the heavenly eye, he injected imperial heaven divine power into the black beast's skin. After more than 2 hours, Qin Yun finally stopped. Many blue runes appeared on the surface of the black beast's skin. They are as fine as silk and densely packed as they flowed on the surface of the beast's skin. It's still not complete. Qin Yun can only let Mo come out and use her help to see if there are any dark runes. Mo can see the dark runes. When she came out and saw the beast's skin, she let out a delicate cry. Big brother, those runes are so powerful. Mo said. Do you know what kind of runes it is? Qin Yun has mastered many runes. Heavenly runes, divine runes, heavenly law divine runes, Tao evolution runes, and all kinds of totems. However, he can't see what kind of runes have appeared on the beast's skin. Mo said. When heavenly runes and moon runes are combined, it looks like this. Really? I can't see any heavenly runes or moon runes. Qin Yun carefully looked again, because the key points are all hidden. Dark runes are the core of heavenly runes and moon runes. And on the surface are Tao evolution divine runes. They are mainly used for sealing. Mo spoke. Her eyes shot out 2 blue light beams that hit the black beast's skin. Very quickly, more and more runes appeared on the surface of the black beast's skin. After those runes appeared, Qin Yun secretly exclaimed in admiration. He never expected that there would be so many hidden dark runes. After the dark runes appeared, the runes on the surface of the black beast's skin slowly rippled like many glowing threads. All right, the dark runes have appeared, Mo said with a sweet smile. Mo, you are so awesome. You can actually make the dark runes appear directly. Qin Yun exclaimed with a smile. Then, he gently touched Mo's little face with his finger. When Mo heard Qin Yun praising her, she very happily said with a sweet smile, That's because Big Brother has become stronger, so my ability can also be very strong. Thank you. Go back and play with Yang and the others. Qin Yun sent Mo back into the 9-sun divine soul. Qin Yun looked at all the runes that appeared on the beast's skin and knew that this is a very troublesome seal. He took out the floating cloud divine needle and began to carefully fluctuate the thread-like runes. He wanted to seal the key runes. If it was anyone else, they would definitely have a headache seeing the layers of threads randomly intertwined together. They would not know what to do. However, Qin Yun is different. He only needed to look at it for a moment, and he could sense the key runes. Through the floating cloud divine needle, he injected his blood soul power into the runes and changed them, causing the key runes to lose effectiveness. This seal is very special. Although it is very small, it is very strong. If it is not handled properly, one would definitely be injured by the backlash. What kind of inheritance is this? They actually want to seal it like this. Is there really an inheritance inside? Or a taboo cultivation technique? Qin Yin felt that something is amiss. If the Moon Clan's primogeniture really wanted to pass down the inheritance, it would be impossible for the seal to be so complicated. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to open it and the meaning of the inheritance would be lost. Isn't it just some inheritance cultivation technique? There will definitely be no problem. If it is a taboo cultivation technique, just don't learn it. Ling Yun said. That's right. Qin Yin can now feel that the beast skin contains a very strong energy. The material used to make the beast skin is very special. It looks like beast skin, but it can store a lot of energy inside. Moreover, it can absorb the energy of heaven and earth to maintain the beast skin from decaying. In addition, the energy stored inside the beast skin also needs to maintain the operation of the seal. Qin Yin doesn't know how long he has been working. He only remembers that he has modified hundreds of fine silk like runes and weakened the seal bit by bit. I'll be able to see what kind of secret manual it is very soon. Qin Yin also did not have an easy time breaking the seal. It consumed a lot of mental power. Fortunately, his mental power is very strong, and with the help of Heavenly Eye, he can accurately find the key runes. Finally, the runes on the black beast skin gradually dimmed down. The runes that formed the seal have already lost their effectiveness. What made Qin Yin very surprised is that after the seal on the black beast skin was broken, space divine power floated out. There's a very strong spatial fluctuation coming out. Is this used for spatial communication? Qin Yin pressed his hand on the black beast skin and poured in divine power. Very soon, a very familiar kind voice appeared in his mind. Who broke the heavenly world moon diagram? This voice is actually Mu Yu's voice. Grandma Mu Yu, didn't you already? Qin Yin said in shock. It's actually you. The heavenly world moon diagram should be in the hands of the divine Moon Clan Emperor. The current divine Moon Clan Emperor is Tian Shixiang, right? Mu Yu is also very surprised. Grandma Mu Yu, who is Tian Shixiang? What is the heavenly world moon diagram? Qin Yun asked. He can roughly guess that Tian Shixiang is Yu Shangyun. It should be Tian Shixiang who asked you to break it. Just give her the heavenly world moon diagram. Mu Yu said with smile. You seem to have become very strong. Grandma Mu Yu, what exactly is the heavenly world moon diagram? Can you tell me? Qin Yun asked. Mu Yu said with chuckle. You are a boy. This heavenly world moon diagram is not suitable for you. Properly cultivate. Wait until you become strong. You won't like this kind of thing. Chapter 2371. Qin Yin did not immediately teleport to the Heaven's Secret Room. Instead, he contacted Yu Shangyun through the small palace spirit. Yu Shangyun is in the Heaven's Secret Room, transmitting her bloodline to Luo Yaofeng. Xiao Yuelon had previously said that they were wearing very little inside. Therefore, Qin Yin did not directly go over to prevent the situation from becoming awkward. After communicating with the small palace spirit, Qin Yin found out that it took him 3 days to break the seal. And in these 3 days, Yu Shangyun and Luo Yaofeng have been cultivating in the Heaven's Secret Room. Yu Shangyun is helping Luo Yaofeng completely adapt to the Divine Moon bloodline, and also helping Luo Yaofeng transform her body. Qin Yin does not know the relationship between Luo Yaofeng and Yu Shangyun, but knowing that they are cultivating together, he knows that their relationship is definitely very good. Xiao Yuelon is also in the Heaven's Secret Room, cultivating together with them. They are using the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra to cultivate together. Everyone can benefit. Sister Shangyun, Xiao Yin succeeded. Xiao Yuelon said with a smile. Sai, he actually didn't come over directly. Luo Yaofeng lost the bet. She thought that Qin Yin would come here to feast his eyes. Yu Shangyun smiled proudly and said, I already said that I understand him very well. Yuelon, why didn't you trick him into coming over? Otherwise, I would have one. Luo Yaofeng sighed bitterly. Yu Shangyun took off the thin layer of gauze on her body. This caused Xiao Yuelon to stare blankly at her. She could not help but exclaim in admiration, "Sister Shangyun, you're so beautiful." "Yuelon, you're not bad either." Yu Shangyun smiled lightly, and then took out a set of black armor. Luo Yaofeng laughed. "I really want to throw her down." "Yuelon, let's throw her down together." "You can't beat me." Yu Shangyun has already put on her armor and said, "All right, I want to see Qinyan. Are you guys coming together?" "No, I want to chat with Big Sister Luo." Xiao Yuelon giggled and said, "Big Sister Luo, I want to throw myself at you. Come on." Luo Yaofeng and Xiao Yuelon are already hugging each other and playing. Yu Shangyun shook her head and had the small palace spirit teleport her to Qinyan's side. Qinyan is in a small hall. When Yu Shangyun appeared, he was somewhat surprised because she was not wearing a helmet. The moment this beautiful and domineering divine moon race empress appeared, a cold and arrogant aura accompanied it. Her beautiful eyes are currently filled with a trace of gentleness and excitement. Although she still looks strong and valiant, Qinyan felt that she is a little different. When Yu Shangyun walked towards Qinyan, she brought with her a wonderful fragrance. It was the strange fragrance on her body. Although it was not the first time Qinyan breathed in this fragrance, every time he smelled it and saw Yu Shangyun's beautiful face, he would feel a sense of amazement that struck his heart. Yu Shangyun was cold, arrogant, beautiful, and imposing, but the strange fragrance on her body was wonderful and gentle, very intoxicating. "Your potential is more terrifying than I imagined." Yu Shangyun looked at the black beast skin on the table. "I just talked to Grandma Muyue. She said that this was some kind of heavenly moon diagram. She even said she wanted to see Tian Shixiang." "Are you Tian Shixiang?" Qinyan asked. He was very close to Yu Shangyun, right beside her, but he felt that he was very far away from her. "Yes, I am Tian Shixiang. Your sister Kiru is Tian Shiro." Yu Shangyun held the black beast skin and said with a sigh, "But that is our former identity. Now, I am Yu Shangyun, and she is Xie Kiru." "What is your relationship with Miss Luo?" Qinyan asked again. He guessed that the relationship between Xie Kiru and Yu Shangyun is not shallow. She was once the shadow god king of the 9 heavens. Of course, she has already joined my divine moon race. She is very weak now. Yu Shangyun held the heavenly moon diagram and closed her eyes. Qinyan is secretly alarmed. Previously, he had some doubts about Luo Yaofeng's identity, but he never expected that Luo Yaofeng was actually the shadow god king. Yu Shangyun is currently talking with Muyu. Qinyan can't hear them from the side and can only wait patiently. At the same time, he greedily admired Yu Shangyun's beautiful appearance and breathed in the wonderful body fragrance released from her body. Qinyan patiently waited for a moment. Yu Shangyun opened her eyes and stored the heavenly moon diagram. "Heavenly moon diagram. Is there any inherited cultivation technique?" Qinyan asked. "Yes, but it's not suitable for you to cultivate." Yu Shangyun said, "This time, we are truly grateful to you. The heavenly moon diagram is of great help to our divine moon race." "You're welcome. It's good that you're helpful. Right now, we're facing the threat of a strong enemy, so we should help each other." Qinyan said with a smile. "I know you're curious about a lot of things, but Grandma Muyu told me to tell you that it's best not to provoke the 9 heavens divine race." Yu Shangyun said, "Especially with your current strength, you must avoid conflict with the 9 heavens divine race." Qinyan found it somewhat funny. He could not help but laugh. "This is already unavoidable. Didn't you tell Grandma Muyu about my conflict with the 9 heavens divine race?" Yu Shangyun has already learned a lot about the matters of the Sword Forest Desert from Luo Yaofeng. Qinyan had killed many elders of the 9 heavens divine race in the middle of the Sword Forest Desert. "I'm just passing on Grandma Muyu's words to you," Yu Shangyun said. The conflict between Qinyan and the 9 heavens divine race has already been established. He will not stop. Especially his parents. They have already been cursed by the people of the 9 heavens divine race. "Emperor of the divine moon race, you should go back first. When my mother is escorted back, I'll inform you to pick her up." Qinyan said, "You helped me solve the heaven-world moon diagram. This is of great help to me. It can allow my and the divine moon race's strength to increase by a level. I don't know how to thank you." Yu Shangyun looked at Qinyan, her eyes filled with a complicated expression. "We are helping each other. Didn't you want to help my mother undo the nine heavens curse?" Qinyan said with a smile, "Emperor of the divine moon race, you really don't have to care too much about this. If I help you and the divine moon race, it will be the same as helping the Guanghan Palace. You just refined 6 Saint Dao Dan. You need to eat and refine them, right?" The Emperor of the divine moon race asked. "And I was just about to eat it when you came." Qinyan also took out the 6 Saint Dao Dan. "I created this pill. I know how to refine it quickly, and the effect will be even better. I'll help you refine it." Yu Shangyun's beautiful eyes flickered as she said, "Let's talk about it in a room." How should I help?" Qinyan asked. "Stop asking. Hurry up and teleport to a room." Yu Shangyun shouted softly. Qinyan could only do as he was told. He had a bad premonition in his heart. Soon, they were teleported to a comfortable room. "Let's cultivate the 3rd level of the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. You should know what to do, right?" As Yu Shangyun spoke, she took off the armor on her body. Qinyan looked at the perfect beauty in front of him that emitted a wonderful fragrance and could not help but take a deep breath. Actually, you don't need to do this at all." Qinyan still felt that this was somewhat inappropriate. Yu Shangyun's beautiful face turned cold. She grabbed Qinyan's collar and threw him onto the bed. She snorted coldly. "Cut the crap, quickly begin." Qinyan had a bad premonition before, and it was indeed so. Qinyan could only bite the bullet and eat 6 Saint Dao Dan. Then, he cultivated together with the tyrannical emperor of the divine moon race. After a night, Qinyan seemed to have woken up from a dream. The heavenly lion Dao image he cultivated had already reached a bottleneck and needed an opportunity to evolve into a sacred heavenly Dao image. After feeling the heavenly lion Dao image, he couldn't help but move his hand and discovered that he had touched warm skin. Following that, a wonderful fragrance assailed his nose. Yu Shangyun was actually still by his side. "The next time you cultivate the sacred heavenly Dao image, you will need 12 Saint Dao Dan. The next time you eat, call me." Yu Shangyun slowly stood up, took out her armor, and put on. She said in a low voice, "Help me comb my hair." "Oh." Qinyan was startled. He immediately took out a comb and combed her shoulder-length hair. "Qinyan, I had originally planned to join hands with you to fight for the 3rd Myriad Realm's divine sun. However, after I talked to Grandma Muyu, she opposed us doing so." Yu Shangyun sighed. "Why?" Qinyan asked. She said that more and more god realms are starting to set their eyes on the divine desolate, because the divine desolate will be the strongest god realm in history. If they can enter a myriad realm's divine sun, it means that they will have the best opportunity and resources. There will be many experts fighting for the 3rd myriad realm's divine sun, and even the 9 heavens divine race will join forces to fight for it. Yu Shangyun also wanted to fight for it, but she was very obedient to Muyu. "Don't be afraid. I can take down the 3rd myriad realm's divine sun," Qinyan said very confidently. "You have to believe in my strength. Others can't do it, but I can. When you need help, I will definitely help you." Yu Shangyun nodded lightly. Qinyan got off the bed, put on his clothes, and asked, "Are you going to bring Miss Luo back to the divine moon?" "Her body has been modified by me. After fusing with the divine moon bloodline divine origin, she can absorb the divine power of the divine moon. In the future, there is no need to worry about her not being able to absorb divine power." Yu Shangyun snorted lightly. She only wants to go to the divine moon to take a look. She will come back here in the future. "Brother Yun," Qinyan said with a smile. "Seriously, Miss Luo, what's there to be reluctant about?" Qinyan, she looks innocent and pure, but back in the 9 heavens she was a female butcher. She has several identities: the Shadow God King, the 9 heavens girl, the Demon Slayer, the 9 heavens goddess. These are all her identities. When Yu Shangyun said this, she sighed softly. "Perhaps she is the most real. That should be the side she showed to you. I'm going back. Remember, The next time you want to eat a sage tao dan, you must wait for me." When Yu Shangyun said this, his tone was filled with threat. Qin Yun only nodded and let the little palace spirit teleport them out. Luo Yaofeng also followed them out and returned to the divine moon of gods with Yu Shangyun. Xiao Yuelon stood beside Qin Yun and said with a smile, "Xiao Yun, you smell so good." Qin Yun pinched her face and took out a communication talisman. It was a message from the spatial god. "Brother, I've helped you find the heavenly law pawn shop." The spatial god said, "When are you leaving?" "I'm leaving today." Qin Yun stood at the top of a great hall in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. He could already see the Sword Forest Desert. The Nine-Yang Divine Palace would soon be able to enter the Sword Forest Desert's heavenly sword formation. After entering, they would be absolutely safe. Chapter 2372. Little Yun, have you found the heavenly Dao pawn shop? Xiao Yuelon asked. "And I have to set off as soon as possible. If I don't teach those guys a lesson, they will definitely continue to attack me." Qin Yun said, "Mother is not back yet." Xiao Yuelon held Qin Yun's hand and pouted. "Little Yun, I can't accompany you. I'll stay here and wait for them to escort Mother back." She had previously agreed that she would go with Qin Yun to teach the boss of the heavenly Dao pawn shop a lesson. Now, Qin Yun's mother has not returned. She will stay and wait for Qin Yun's mother to return. Then, she will be responsible for arranging for Qin Yun's mother to enter the heavenly divine moon and receive Yu Shangyun's treatment to remove the Nine Heavens Law curse. That's fine too. This time, I don't have the confidence to kill all the bosses of the heavenly Dao pawn shop. I'll go and investigate the situation first." Qin Yun nodded and stroked Xiao Yuelon's face. He said with a smile, "With you, the palace princess, overseeing the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, I'm very relieved." "Of course." Xiao Yuelon smiled sweetly, then hugged Qin Yun and leaned on his chest. She said softly, "Little Yun, after your matter is completed, I want you to help me complete the mission of the Nine-Yang Divine Maiden with me." "No problem. Are you in a hurry to do it now?" Qin Yun asked. Xiao Yuelon said before that she had been staying in the Nine-Yang Divine Palace all this time to wait for Qin Yun to arrange the time. "Of course I'm not in a hurry now. I'm still in the stage of improvement. In the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, I can better absorb the divine power of the myriad world divine sun." Xiao Yuelon said with a smile, "I often cultivate with Sister White Tiger and the others. You just don't know." The Nine-Yang Divine Maiden went to complete those mysterious missions mainly to help the myriad world divine sun and strengthen the connection between the myriad world divine sun and the divine desolate. For example, to help the myriad world divine sun complete some great formations. This way, the myriad world divine sun and the heavenly divine desolate would be even closer, allowing this land to give birth to all kinds of powerful life forms. The space god came very quickly. Xiao Yuelon had something to do with by sea, so she did not stay behind to see the god of space. After the space god arrived in a small hall, he saw Qin Yun's expression became serious. "Brother, what's wrong?" asked Qin Yun. "I found the Heavenly Path pawn shop for you, but you have to listen to me. Don't clash with the Heavenly Path pawn shop for the time being." The space god said, "I'll listen to you." Qin Yun nodded. "I also plan to investigate the situation and then decide whether to make a move or not. Then I'll take you there now." The space god just came in. Before he even sat down, he left the Nine-Yang Divine Palace with Qin Yun. After going out, the space god waved his hand and opened a spatial passage in the void. Then, he took Qin Yun away. The Nanyang Temple had already entered the Sword Forest Summit. With Xiao Hua's arrangement, the Nanyang Temple would enter the core of the heavenly sword formation. The spatial god brought Qin Yun to a desolate land. They floated in midair. At that moment, there was a sultry heat wave flowing high in the sky. Qin Yun looked at the ground before looking at his surroundings. He found it odd. There were originally many mountains here, but after the Heavenly Law pawn shop appeared, it became like this. The god of space said, "Previously, the Heavenly Law pawn shop was still here, but now it has just left." "Just left?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "Did we come too late?" "Even if we came early, the Heavenly Law pawnshop would still carry out a spatial transfer at a fixed time. The god of space said, "According to my investigation over the past few days, the Heavenly Law pawnshop has a total of 10 locations. Every 2 to 4 hours, it will teleport once. And the place we are at is the place where the Heavenly Law pawnshop stays the longest. The time, it will stay for about 6 hours." Qin Yun understood that the god of space had brought him here to wait for the Heavenly Law pawnshop to appear. What is this Heavenly Law pawnshop guarding against by performing spatial teleportation so frequently? Qin Yun muttered to himself as he pondered. He believed that it was definitely not because he was afraid of him. The boss of the Heavenly Law pawnshop had previously said that he was not afraid of him, the Nanyang Palace King. In other words, the Heavenly Law pawnshop might be facing some kind of crisis. In any case, the Heavenly Law pawnshop is a very powerful existence. Even such a powerful existence is so vigilant. It must be guarding against something extraordinary. The god of space said, "Brother, this heavenly divine desolate is very big. Our understanding of the heavenly divine desolate is probably less than 10%. "I understand." Qin Yun nodded. The reason why the god of space had warned him not to attack the Heavenly Law pawnshop was because he was worried that there would be other enemies nearby. Let's wait patiently for 4 to 4 hours. The Heavenly Law pawnshop should appear soon. The god of space said, "When the time comes, do you have any plans?" Yunlong is the shopkeeper of the Heavenly Law pawnshop. "Of course, I will directly enter when the time comes." Qin Yun said, "I'm afraid it won't be that easy to enter. The Heavenly Law pawnshop is very strict now. If you want to enter to pawn something, you have to be invited. It won't be that easy for you to barge in." The god of space shook his head. "Brother, have you pawned before?" Qin Yun said with a smile. "I was invited, but I didn't go in." The god of space smiled. "I don't have anything good to pawn. And the things I want, even if they have them, they will have to pay a huge price for them." The god of space was considered a strong god. He had long been invited by the Heavenly Law pawnshop. Perhaps Yunlong had personally come to find him. Qin Yun had pawned at the Heavenly Law pawnshop many times, so he knew some of the rules. The two of them waited patiently for more than 2 hours. Suddenly, space fluctuated. A large, rectangular golden stone appeared. It was as big as a city. This is the Heavenly Law pawnshop. From afar, it looks like a huge golden brick. The moment the Heavenly Law pawnshop appeared, it produced a strong fluctuation, bringing with it a scorching heat wave that surged in all directions. The earth was originally roasted by the 3 myriad world divine suns. Now, with the addition of this scorching heat wave, this flat wasteland suddenly looked like a furnace. The Heavenly Law pawnshop slowly landed on ground. It was as big as a small city. When it landed on the ground, the shockwave produced caused the earth to shake. So this is the appearance of the Heavenly Law pawnshop. I've never paid attention to it. Qin Yun said, "It might have been modified many times." The god of space said, "Brother, I need to return to the myriad world divine court. I still have some matters to attend to. You just need to pay attention to it." "And thank you, brother," Qin Yun said with a smile. The god of space directly teleported away. When he left, he did not trigger any spatial fluctuations. It could be seen that he did so to avoid being detected by the Heavenly Law pawnshop. Qin Yun slowly opened the Heavenly Law pawnshop. From afar, it looked like a golden brick. However, after approaching it, he felt a sense of grandeur and magnificence. Qin Yun quickly arrived outside the Heavenly Law pawnshop. He raised his head and looked up. He felt that there was a very tall and thick golden wall in front of him. It was at least several thousand feet tall. I never thought that the Heavenly Law pawnshop would be so big. I've been there a few times before, and I was directly teleported to a small hall inside. I don't even know what the Heavenly Law pawnshop looks like. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. "Little Yun, have you found the door to enter?" Ling Yuner asked. "There might not be a door." After Qin Yun approached, he was about to take out the Divine King Heavenly Seal to contact Yunlong when he saw a large white cloud descend from the sky and float beside him. "Yunlong is here." Just as Yunlong returned, He sensed that Qin Yun was nearby. This gave him a huge fright. As Qin Yun had previously said that he would destroy the Heavenly Dao pawn shop, Cloud Dragon thought that Qin Yun had come to him to start a fight. "My lord, why are you here?" After Yun Long turned into an old man, his face was filled with fear. "I just came to have a heart-to-heart talk with those few bosses." Qin Yun said with a smile, "I heard that they looked down on me. Furthermore, I suspect that the attack on my parents this time was planned by them from behind." Yun Long looked around and said in a low voice, "Follow me." Qin Yun originally thought that he would be brought into the Heavenly Law pawn shop by Yun Long. He never expected that Yun Long would bring him out of the Heavenly Law pawn shop. "Shopkeeper Yun Long, we can be considered friends." Qin Yun looked at the Heavenly Law pawn shop in the distance and said with a faint smile, "Please cherish our friendship. Originally, I had a lot of power in the Heavenly Law pawn shop, and those few bosses also gave up their power. But after the blue sky appeared, they returned to the Heavenly Law pawn shop." Yun Long said with a sigh. "Why?" Qin Yun asked. "Because the blue sky came to the Divine Desolate and finally exploded. It is equivalent to sowing seeds in the Divine Desolate. A large number of inheritances were scattered. Those inheritances came from many divine realms." Yun Long said, "This means that the Divine Desolate will integrate the civilizations of many powerful divine realms and become the most powerful divine realm. The most powerful divine realm in history." When Yun Long said this, Qin Yun also understood. Those few bosses want to control the Heavenly Law pawn shop and then become the overlord of the Divine Desolate. Qin Yun found it funny. Previously, Heavenly Dao Child said that the Heavenly Law pawn shop's owner is most likely Qin Yun. Those few bosses might not have figured out the meaning of the Heavenly Law pawn shop's existence. "Palace King, let me tell you another piece of news. The Heavenly Law pawn shop's power is very great. Now, the Heavenly Law pawn shop can open many space passages and prepare to connect to other divine realms to obtain support from other divine realms." Yun Long said in a deep voice. "For example, White Sun Divine Realm, Three-Eyed Divine Realm, Golden Wing Divine Realm. They will open one after another and then directly join hands with the divine kings of these divine realms. And then," Qin Yun said with frown, "then they will suppress your 9-yang divine palace and force you to hand over the divine king heavenly seal. They believe that the divine king heavenly seal of the Divine Desolate can be divided into at least 9 parts, which will correspond to 9 myriad world divine suns in the future." Yun Long said, "They also said that in the future, the 9 kings will jointly rule the Divine Desolate." Qin Yun said with sneer, "Bullshit. 9 kings jointly rule? There is only one divine king in the Divine Desolate, and that is me, Qin Yun." Chapter 2373. Qin Yun glanced at Yun Long and curled his lips. "Old friend, do you think my head is easy to harvest?" "Of course not. After all, you have reaped the heads of the 9 heavens demon emperor and a few other tribe emperors, and even killed a large number of dukes. You are indeed strong, but there's always someone stronger." Yun Long sighed. "You are strong now, but you are not invincible. Could it be that those bosses are invincible?" Qin Yun said with smile. "If they are not invincible, then I am not afraid of them." Yun Long shook his head and said, "Of course they are not invincible, but I think they are stronger than you. Furthermore, they have a large group of friends. Those friends are all god kings from other god realms. They can come at any time. I have taken down the Sword Forest Desert." Qin Yun said, "The Heavenly Sword Formation in the Sword Forest Desert is already mine. Even so, do you think that the Heavenly Sword Formation is invincible?" Yun Long let out a long sigh. "Old friend, I am doing this for your own good. You are the hope of Divine Desolate. Once you are killed, Divine Desolate might become like the 9 heavens and become like hell." Qin Yun also knows that Yun Long is thinking for him, but he believes that with his own strength, it is enough to fight against the few bosses of the Heavenly Law pawn shop. There is no need to be afraid of the god kings from other god realms. They came to divine desolate to deliver their heads. Qin Yun patted Yunlong's shoulder and said with smile, "Divine desolate is my territory." Yunlong also knows that he can't persuade Qin Yun. He already knew that Qin Yun is a very difficult person to persuade. He can only helplessly sigh and ask, "Then what are your plans next? I want to see those bosses. Can you help me arrange it?" Qin Yun said, "No, it's not that I don't want to, but even for me, it's very difficult to see them. Those guys are all high and mighty, very ostentatious. If I want to see them, I have to pretend to be a grandson for a few days and kneel outside to beg for an audience." Speaking of this matter, Yunlong is also very angry. Of course, he also hopes that Qin Yun can beat up those bosses, but he is even more afraid that Qin Yun will be killed. The Heavenly Law pawn shop is not theirs. Why are they still staying in a Heavenly Law pawn shop? Qin Yun is now even more unhappy because he feels that the Heavenly Law pawn shop should be his. Yunlong should be working for him, but he was treated like a grandson by those bastard bosses. The Heavenly Law pawn shop is now theirs. What can I do? Yunlong looked sullen and sighed. Qin Yun and Yunlong are chatting in the distance. They are quite far away from the Heavenly Law pawn shop. At this moment, a black flying bird beast came whistling down from the sky. One could see that the space behind the giant bird beast had been torn apart. This gigantic bird beast actually tore through space and came over. It created a very strong spatial ripple, accompanied by the bird beast's coarse cry. When Qin Yun looked over, he saw that the torn space was slowly healing. Usually, only powerful spatial divine power could tear space apart. The blackbird beast had a wingspan of several hundred meters. It had the head of an eagle and the claws of a dragon. Its black wings were like those of a bat, and its body was like that of a crocodile. It also had a long tail like a crocodile. "This is..." Yunlong's expression changed. He said in a low voice, "Palace King, you should leave." "Who is it?" Qin Yun can see. This powerful bird beast is flying towards the Heavenly Law pawn shop. "It's from the Nine Heavens," Yunlong said in a deep voice. "In the Nine Heavens, there's a very powerful guy who calls himself Nine Heavens Empyrean. And the guy who came now, although he is a lackey of Nine Heavens Empyrean, his strength is very formidable." Qin Yun frowned. "Nine Heavens Empyrean? This name sounds very arrogant. In the Nine Heavens, aren't God Kings the strongest? This Nine Heavens Empyrean doesn't have a God King heavenly seal, but his strength is comparable to the Nine Heavens Divine Kings. He suddenly became stronger during this period of time. It is said that this Nine Heavens Empyrean is somewhat similar to our heavenly Tao of Divine Desolate." Yunlong said, "Then why did he send a lackey to Divine Desolate? This Nine Heavens Empyrean should just stay in the Nine Heavens. Why did he set his eyes on our Divine Desolate?" Qin Yun is already filled with hostility towards this Nine Heavens Empyrean. "I don't know. I only heard that the Heavens Divine Moon's moonlight can illuminate the Nine Heavens. This Nine Heavens Empyrean's lackey might have set his eyes on the Heavens Divine Moon." Yunlong patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said, "Palace King, the Heavens Divine Moon is very important. You should make the best use of your time to become stronger and protect the heavens." Divine Moon. Qin Yun can't help but recall what Bai Suxin said back then. She said that if someone from the Nine Heavens comes down, it means that the Divine Moon Clan's calamity is about to arrive. The Divine Moon Clan is now closely connected with the Heavens Divine Moon. That Nine Heavens Empyrean most likely wants to control the Heavens Divine Moon. Qin Yun has always remembered this matter. Therefore, when he was in the Sword Forest Mountain Desert, he killed all the elders from the Nine Heavens, thinking that this would allow the Divine Moon Clan to avoid the calamity. Now, the one who brought calamity to the Divine Moon Clan is not that group of elders from before, but that Nine Heavens Empyrean. Why is the Heavens Divine Moon's moonlight so strong? It can actually illuminate the Nine Heavens, but what does this have to do with that Nine Heavens Empyrean? Qin Yun snorted, "That damned bastard Don't even think about encroaching on my heaven's divine desolate's divine moon. In Qin Yun's eyes, the heaven's divine moon is the Guanghan Palace's territory. No one should even think about seizing the heaven's divine moon. Maybe 9 heavens Empyrean felt that the heaven's divine moon's moonlight appeared in the 9 heavens. That's why he wanted to obtain it. Yinlong said, just as Qin Yun and Yunlong were talking. Yinlong suddenly looked towards the heavenly Dao pawn shop's direction. Then, he quickly retracted his aura and sent a voice transmission to Qin Yun. Quickly hide. Those bosses are coming out. There is no need for Yunlong's reminder. Qin Yun already concealed his aura. In that instant, he sensed 2 incomparably powerful auras coming from afar. It is indeed very terrifying. Not long after the huge blackbird beast landed, it immediately flew up again. 2 heavenly Dao pawn shops bosses mounted the huge bird beast back. The blackbird beast flew up, but did not tear through space. Instead, it flew towards the sky. That direction, it should be the direction of the heaven's divine moon. Yunlong said in shock, they want to attack the heaven's divine moon. Qin Yun immediately chased after it. At the same time, he took out a communication talisman to contact the space god. Yunlong also followed Qin Yun and followed the bird beast, flying towards the sky. The space god learned that Qin Yun has an urgent matter and immediately rushed over. He directly crossed space and arrived beside Qin Yun. However, just as he arrived beside Qin Yun, the space god said in shock, it's the aura of a space inscription beast. What a powerful space inscription beast. Qin Yun has also seen space inscription beast before. Back when Sekiru turned into a little girl, she obtained a small gray cat. That is a space inscription beast, but it is rather small. And that eagle head dragon claw crocodile body blackbird beast is an even more powerful space inscription beast. It can even travel across divine realms. Where are they going? Qin Yun asked. That is the location of the heaven's divine moon. It is broad daylight now, but the heaven's divine moon has always been in the sky. It is only releasing a barrier to hide. At the same time, it is absorbing the divine power of 3 myriad realms' divine suns through the barrier. The space god said, little brother, that space inscription beast is a rather evil type. It is extremely harmful. What do you mean? Yunlong asked curiously. This kind of space inscription beast is artificially cultivated. They caught many space Xian ants and fed them to become like this. It has extremely strong ability to shatter space. If it goes berserk, it will have a great impact on space and cause many spatial cracks that cannot be healed. The space god's expression is grave. We must get rid of this guy. This thing appeared in the heavens divine desolate. I don't know if it has ever acted recklessly before. If there are many spatial cracks that cannot be healed, if one is not careful and falls in, weak people will die for sure. Qin Yun said. The space god said in deep voice. The reason I ran around before was to repair these spatial cracks. There were several large-scale spatial cracks that appeared in the past. It is very likely that they were created by this thing. After flying high in the sky gradually darkened. The huge heaven's divine moon seems like it is right in front of them, but it also feels very far away. The huge space inscription beast is flying in front of the heaven's divine moon. It is like a small black dot. Now it suddenly stopped. There is a very strong barrier fluctuation ahead. It is the heaven's divine moon's barrier. Qin Yun, Yunlong, and the space god have all concealed their aura. The spatial barrier released by the space god has directly isolated their aura from flowing in this space. Therefore, it is very good at concealment. If they keep a distance, they won't be discovered. They can also sense the aura outside and the situation all around. The space god is still not at ease. He opened up a small space and brought Qin Yun and Yunlong inside. They were in that small space and then slowly moved the space closer to the huge bird beast. This way, they're very close to the bird beast. They can see that there are a few people standing on the bird beast's head. They can see the situation outside from inside the small space, but the people outside don't know of their existence. This kind of superb spatial technique caused Qin Yun and Yun Long to repeatedly praise it. They are not continuing forward. Qin Yun said, "That is the divine moon's barrier. Even I can't cross it." "Old boy, you don't need to worry too much about the divine moon," the space god said. Not long after the huge bird beast stopped, many formidable aura arrived. "It's Jiang Jiuquan. What's he doing here?" Qin Yun said in shock. "The divine judge is also here. There are also sword god and violent god. They're very good at fighting. Are they going to fight?" The space god said with frown. Jiang Jiuquan walked over to greet the divine judge and said with smile, "Divine judge, I did not expect to disturb you. Someone is approaching the divine moon with such great momentum. Of course I have to come and take a look." The divine judge said with sneer, "Jiang Clan King, you are not with them, right?" "Of course not. I'm also here to take a look," Jiang Jiuquan hastily said. At this time, a youth standing on the huge bird beast's head yelled, "Jiang Jiuquan, I trust you have been well since we last met. So, it is the envoy sent by Ninth Heaven Venerable Emperor. What are you doing here? Do you want to attack the divine moon?" Jiang Jiuquan asked in loud voice. "I am representing Di Zun to discuss marriage with the divine moon emperor." Di Zun knows that the divine moon clan's emperor used to be the Nine Heavens goddess, Tian Shixiang, so he wants to marry Tian Shixiang. The envoy said with bright laughter, "Tian Shixiang is very lucky to be chosen by Di Zun." Chapter 2374. Seeing Qin Yun take out a weapon, Yun Long and Space God are very nervous. Especially Yun Long, because he knows that Nine Heavens Emperor Venerable is very strong. If the envoy is killed by Qin Yun, it will surely set off a huge wave. "Palace King, don't be excited. Let's wait and see. Divine Moon Race's Empress is very strong, and she is inside Divine Moon. That guy from Nine Heavens can't do anything to her." Yun Long promptly comforted Qin Yun. Yun Long knows the relationship between Qin Yun and Guanghan Palace. If Divine Moon Race's Empress Yushang Yun is married by that Nine Heavens Emperor Venerable, it is equivalent to Divine Moon being controlled. "I'm not excited," Qin Yun very calmly said. "Why should I be excited? That Nine Sun Emperor Venerable's envoy sent a space inscription beast to wreak havoc. It is only natural for me to kill him." Space God has no objection because he also wants to kill that space inscription beast so that it won't cause any damage to Divine Desolate. Qin Yun's expression is calm, but in his heart, he wants to immediately go out and kill that envoy. In short, he took out Nine Sun Divine Hammer and Myriad Heaven Divine Saber. It is impossible for him to take them back. "Envoy Wang, are you sure this is Nine Sun Emperor Venerable's idea? He wants to marry Divine Moon Race's Empress. Does he think that just because he says so?" Jiang Jiuquan said with smile. "Jiang Jiuquan, you have been in this place for too long. You don't understand Nine Heavens at all. Do you know what kind of changes have taken place in Nine Heavens? Even your father Divine, King Jiang Xian, and Heavenly Demon Divine, King, don't dare to fight against us. Soon, Emperor Venerable will descend here and become one of the Divine Kings of Divine Desolate. With Emperor Venerable's strength, marrying 10 Divine Moon Race's Empress Wang is not a problem." Envoy Wang said with arrogant and mocking expression. Divine Judge's expression is cold as he said, "You guys from Nine Heavens want to dominate Divine Desolate? With me here, don't even think of succeeding. Who do you think you are?" Emissary Wang looked coldly at the Divine Judge and laughed. "Di Zun is so powerful. He can kill you with a finger." There are 2 middle-aged men beside Envoy Wang. They are the owners of Heavenly Law Pawn Shop. They are together with Envoy Wang. It is clear that Heavenly Law Pawn Shop has secretly joined hands with Nine Emperor Venerable. The owner of the pawn shop next to Envoy Wang sneered and said, "Grand Inquisitor, you better take a break." Even Jiang Jiuquan's father, Divine King Jiang Xian, was no match for the Ninth Heaven Sovereign in the Nine Heavens. What ability do you have to stop Sovereign from becoming a Divine King in the divine wilderness of all heavens? There is no need for the Myriad Realms Divine Palace to exist. Our venerable emperors have already eaten most of the divine thrones in the 9 heavens." Emissary Wang laughed and said, "The reason for your existence is to feed us." The Grand Inquisitor took out the All Heavens Divine Punishment flag. "Are you declaring war, Grand Inquisitor?" The owner of the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop asked in surprise. "Is the Divine Court of Myriad Worlds ready to fight against the 9th Heaven Sovereign?" Envoy Wang looked at Jiang Chuan and said, "Jiang Chuan, you should know the strength of our venerable sovereigns, right? If an Empyrean wants to conquer divine wilderness, do you think the Divine Court of Myriad Realms can stop them? Forget about the Divine Court of Myriad Realms. Even I can't stop 9th Heaven Empyrean." Jiang Chuan sighed, then looked at the Grand Inquisitor and said, "Grand Inquisitor, please calm down. You should be a person who considers the big picture. Zhu Shenyang has high hopes for the Divine Court of Myriad Realms. Don't lead the Divine Court to destruction." Envoy Wang laughed and said, "Grand Inquisitor, attack if you have the guts. I can crush you to death without the venerable sovereign's help." The Grand Inquisitor tightly gripped the flagpole. He indeed has to consider many aspects. If the Divine Court of Myriad Realms is destroyed now, all his efforts will be wasted. Seeing that the Grand Inquisitor is silent, Envoy Wang looked at the divine moon of all heavens and shouted, "Tian Shixiang, please come out quickly and discuss the marriage with me." This Envoy Wang is extremely arrogant. It can be seen how arrogant the 9th Heaven Sovereign behind him is. The 9th Heaven Sovereign only sent an envoy to force Yu Shangyun to agree to the marriage. From this, it can be seen that the 9th Heaven Sovereign thinks that he is invincible. "I have left the 9 heavens for many years. I am no longer a person of the 9 heavens. I don't know any 9th Heaven Sovereign. He wants to marry me. He is not worthy." Yu Shangyun's cold voice came from the divine moon of all heavens. "Tian Shixiang, you are courting death." Envoy Wang's voice is full of threat. He sneered and said, "You better agree immediately and choose 3,000 beauties from the Divine Moon clan to follow me back to the 9 heavens. Dizun not only wants you, he also wants your Divine Moon clan. Otherwise, your Divine Moon clan will be sacrificed. Otherwise, your Divine Moon clan will become sacrifices." Everyone knows that the Divine Moon clan produces many beauties. Most of them are talented and powerful. This is mainly because the Divine Moon clan's women are born in a different way, as well as joining the Divine Moon clan and obtaining the Divine Moon bloodline. So the Divine Moon clan's women are very powerful. Another reason is Yu Shangyun's leadership over the Divine Moon clan. Her charisma is very strong. She can encourage the clan's women to cultivate diligently, so that they can prepare to face the calamity at any time. Tian Shixiang is already dead. There is no more Tian Shixiang in this world. I am now the Divine Moon clan's emperor. If the 9th Heaven Sovereign wants to trample on my Divine Moon clan, then he must be prepared to have his soul scattered. Yu Shangyun's emperor aura surged out along with a wave of mighty divine power, causing the people floating in the sky to retreat. Tian Shixiang, do you think that by hiding in the divine desolate, the other divine realms can't do anything to you? Although the divine moon of all heavens is powerful, it is not invincible. You are inside the divine moon of all heavens. You must be very clear that the divine moon of all heavens is about to enter the transformation stage. At that time, it will be extremely weak and defenseless. Can you weak women protect the divine moon of all heavens? If you want to protect the entire Divine Moon clan and don't want the clan's women to become sacrifices and female slaves, then you better become the venerable sovereign's women. Envoy Wang is not afraid of Yu Shangyun at all. He continued to use an incomparably arrogant tone and threat to interrogate Yu Shangyun. Qin Yun is alarmed. The divine moon of all heavens is facing such a great crisis, but the 9-sun goddess has never mentioned it. This made him somewhat angry in his heart, because it was clear that she did not want him to participate, afraid that he would be implicated. Qin Yun believes that this might be Yu Shangyun's decision. When he thought of this, he wanted to spank Yu Shangyun. She actually hid it from him and did not intend to let him help. I won't kill you because I want you to scram back, you dog. Tell that whatever ninth heaven sovereign, he can forget about marrying any woman of my divine moon clan because he is not worthy. Yu Shangyun's voice is still as cold and arrogant as before. It is filled with a powerful emperor's aura, causing everyone to feel apprehensive. Qin Yun is also secretly alarmed. Yu Shangyun's strength has clearly increased by a lot. He felt that it might be because Yu Shangyun cultivated the third level of the Sun and Moonheart Sutra with him that she advanced by leaps and bounds. This woman has also reaped great benefits from cultivating with me. No wonder she is willing to cultivate with me and is even thinking about the next time. Qin Yun is secretly dissatisfied because Yu Shangyun did not even discuss matters with him. Tian Shixiang, you have guts. Don't worry, I will definitely tell the truth to Dizun. As for you, you will watch in endless regret as your clan's women are humiliated to death and sacrificed to the heavens and devoured. Emissary Wang gnashed his teeth. His voice carried a sinister and ruthless tone. It is very frightening. At this moment, the owner of the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop said, Emissary Wang, last time the Divine Moon Clan's women were about to be sacrificed to the heavens. In the end, it was that Nine-Yang Palace King who disrupted the plan. Originally, Dizun wanted the Demon Emperor and Elder Zhao to join hands to create the Heavenly Universe Divine Sunday. In the future, when Dizun descends to the Divine Desolate, he will be able to enter the Heavenly Universe Divine Sunday. All of this was destroyed by that Nine-Yang Palace King. When Emissary Wang mentioned this matter, he is also extremely angry. The Nine-Yang Palace King has a complete divine King Heavenly Seal in his hands. That Divine Moon Clan's emperor might feel that he has this guy's backing, so he is fearless. The pawn shop owner said again, ridiculous. So what if he has a complete divine King Heavenly Seal? The growth of the divine King Heavenly Seal is closely related to the Divine Desolate and the 9 myriad realms' divine sons. The Divine Desolate has not grown, and the 9 myriad realms' divine sons have not appeared. How strong can the Divine King Heavenly Seal be? Emissary Wang sneered a few times, then looked at the Divine Judge and said, You bastard, you also think that because you have a Divine King to rely on, you are not afraid of our Dizun, right? Let me tell you, even if that guy has a complete Divine King Heavenly Seal, he is definitely not the Divine King of the Divine Desolate. Xia Wufeng, who was beside the Divine Judge, said with sneer, That is because you have never seen him, otherwise you would definitely regret saying these words. If only I had seen him, I would definitely step on his face and tell him how strong our Dizun is. Tell him that he is not qualified to possess the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Emissary Wang laughed heartily. The two owners of the Heavenly Law Pawn Shop also laughed heartily. Just as the three of them were laughing heartily, a blue light arc suddenly flashed over. That blue light arc is like a sky-cleaving blade. It brings with it a vast and tyrannical heavenly might, majestic and fierce, berserk and shocking. Emissary Wang and the two owners immediately can't laugh anymore. They immediately fled. That incomparably dreadful heavenly might is as if the heavens are going berserk. The earth is roaring. This is a saber attack condensed from Qin Yun's endless fury. The divine moon of the heavens is being threatened. Yu Shangyun is being forced to marry by that ninth heaven Dizun. Qin Yun, the person who holds the divine king heavenly seal, is being ridiculed. All kinds of emotions caused him to be unable to suppress them. He stepped out of the small space and directly slashed with his saber. The energy released by the myriad heaven divine saber roared and transformed into a huge energy blade. It landed on the huge space inscription beast and tore it into many pieces. Emissary Wang and the two pawn shop owners immediately leapt away. They don't dare to directly face that saber attack. Who is it? Emissary Wang saw that his space inscription beast has been killed and furiously roared. Although my nine-sun palace king only has sacred god realm cultivation, It is not the place for any random cat or dog to act presumptuously in my territory. Qin Yun appeared in everyone's line of sight. He is carrying a large saber on his shoulder, holding a divine hammer in his hand, wearing heaven-trampling divine boots on his feet. He is wearing the Sky Universe Overlord's blue on the inside and purple on the outside armor. His entire body is releasing an incomparably powerful pressure. Chapter 2375. Qin Yun's sudden appearance caused Jiang Jiuchuan, a divine chief judge, to be very surprised. The power of Qin Yun's saber strike also caused them to be secretly terrified, because at this moment, the feeling that Qin Yun gave them became much stronger. Emissary Wang and the two owners of the Heavenly Law pawn shop stood together as if they were facing a great enemy. Of course, they had heard many rumors about Qin Yun. They knew that Qin Yun had a certain level of strength, but they never expected him to be this powerful. Although he was at the Saint God realm, his strength was comparable to those powerful Tao gods. The two bosses of the Heavenly Tao pawn shop sensed the heavenly might on Qin Yun's body and felt very puzzled. Because the heavenly might on Qin Yun's body is very similar to the dead Heavenly Tao. Although it was very similar, they did not believe that Qin Yun was a reincarnated Heavenly Tao. They only believed that Qin Yun grasped something related to the Heavenly Tao, or it was because of the Godly King Heavenly Seal. Good, you have guts. Emissary Wang looked at the fragments floating around him. This is a very precious spatial inscription beast, yet it was chopped into pieces by a single saber strike. Originally, the Divine Moon Clan's great emperor spared your dog life and wanted you to scram back to pass on a message to the Ninth Heaven Great Emperor. But you brought that space inscription beast and ran around in the Divine Desolate, causing a great impact on the Divine Desolate, so I can't let you leave. Qin Yun's expression sank as his killing intent and heavenly might enveloped Emissary Wang. Envoy Wang and the two owners of the pawn shop are immediately overwhelmed with shock. Qin Yun's strength is far stronger than they imagined. I admit that you have some ability. After all, you have a complete God King Heavenly Seal. It is normal for you to have such strength. However, you're still far from being able to kill me. Envoy Wang forced himself to calm down and sneered, "Don't worry, I will definitely tell Dizun how you humiliated him. You are a person who is about to die." With that, Emissary Wang suddenly activated a heavenly talisman, and the space around him began to fluctuate violently. After he used the heavenly talisman, his body quickly fell into the fluctuating space. He wanted to escape. Qin Yun was long prepared. Try to run? Qin Yun sneered. He floated in the air and stomped his feet. A surge of spatial divine power erupted from his heaven-trampling divine boots. Boom! It was as if the heavens were about to be trampled apart, and the surrounding space began to ripple. Qin Yun used the heaven's extinction footwork space, traversal steps, and kicked out. His thighs sank into space. Space fluctuated once more, and then Emissary Wang's furious cry could be heard. Emissary Wang had already hidden in space, but Qin Yun's stomp caused the space to tremble. Coupled with the supergravity released by the Nether Sun, the space was sealed, making it impossible for Envoy Wang to leave immediately. After that, Qin Yun used the Little Ant Queen's divine power to lock onto Emissary Wang. Then, he used space crossing steps and kicked Emissary Wang out of the spatial passageway. After Emissary Wang was kicked out, he immediately roared, "You're courting death. I represent Dizun. Insulting me is equivalent to insulting Dizun. Is that so?" Qin Yun flew over and exerted supergravity on Emissary Wang. Emissary Wang was incomparably furious at this moment. His eyes were bloodshot and many black lines appeared on his skin. His expression was sinister and terrifying. Scram! Emissary Wang bellowed as black bolts of lightning burst out of his body, dissipating Qin Yun's supergravity. It must be said that this Emissary Wang is a Tao God Realm expert. He has a certain level of strength. After he became angry, he was able to break through Qin Yun's supergravity in an instant. This can be considered as a very good performance. Emissary Wang held the black heavy sword in his hand. His entire body surged with killing intent. His eyes surged with hostility. His entire body is filled with bitter, evil divine power. The divine power on his body is very strong and berserk, especially when he charged at Qin Yun. It is as if he can destroy heaven and earth. Insulting Di Zun, you will die without a burial ground. Emissary Wang bellowed in anger. His body is like a black gale and lightning. In an instant, he arrived in front of Qin Yun and slashed down with his sword. Qin Yun blocked with his saber. The black heavy sword slashed down on the myriad heaven divine saber and produced an incomparably powerful energy wave, causing the blood energy of the surrounding people to churn. Even the two Heavenly Law pawnshop's owners felt a trace of fear, because they felt that the Heavenly Law's might on Qin Yun's body is becoming more and more familiar. When Divine Judge saw Qin Yun appear, he felt a lot more at ease. He believes in Qin Yun's strength. Jiang Jiuquan's expression is grave because he doesn't want Qin Yun to provoke Nine Heavens Empyrean right now. If Nine Heavens Empyrean becomes furious, he, the Jiang clan's king, will be a great threat to him. However, Jiang Jiuquan can only watch from the side. He knows that if Emissary Wang meets Qin Yun, he will undoubtedly die. Emissary Wang thought that if he enters furious state, he would be able to defeat Qin Yun. But after he slashed down with his sword, he realized that his divine power is not as strong as Qin Yun's. Just as he was about to withdraw his sword and leave, he discovered that his black heavy sword is stuck to Qin Yun's blue saber. Emissary Wang abandoned his sword and fled, but his hand is being sucked in by a very strong suction force, causing him to be unable to let go of the sword hilt. 10 sacred tribulation gates opened wide inside Qin Yun's body. Divine power rushed out like 10 surging heavenly rivers, roaring inside Qin Yun's body. Emissary Wang is horrified. He looked at Qin Yun's eyes and felt as if he saw a vast and boundless sky in Qin Yun's eyes. Boom! Qin Yun's other hand tightly gripped the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer and smashed down on Emissary Wang's head. Blue thunder and lightning and ferocious vibration suddenly burst out in all directions. The energy wave is like a huge wave churning. The momentum is shocking. Through the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer, heavenly tremor and thunderbursts might seem to have reached the pinnacle. Emissary Wang's head was smashed open with a very large hole, but it did not shatter. However, through the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer's berserk thunder and lightning, it poured into Emissary Wang's body through his head. His body and soul are being ravaged by the thunder and lightning at the same time, causing him endless pain. Boom! Qin Yun let go of the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer, freed a hand, and ruthlessly slapped Emissary Wang's face. He said with sneer, "Insulting you is the same as insulting Nine Heavens Empyrean? I'll do it. Let's see what he can do to me." Qin Yun's palms slapped again and again. Each palm is filled with ferocious thunder and flame. In just a few slaps, Emissary Wang's face exploded and turned black, distorted beyond recognition. The people at the side all watched this scene with trepidation. Emissary Wang is not weak. After all, the person beside Nine Heavens Empyrean is a Tao God Realm person with pretty good strength. Yet now, he is being hung up and beaten by Qin Yun. What a pity! Nine Heavens Empyrean did not see this. As Qin Yun spoke, he spread his 5 fingers and transformed them into heavenly lion fighting dragon claw. He grabbed Emissary Wang's charcoal-like head and forcefully tore it off. He grabbed Emissary Wang's head with one hand and used the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer with the other, smashing Emissary Wang's powerful body into ashes. Emissary Wang is only left with his soul in his head, and it is an extremely broken soul. You're the owners of the Heavenly Law pawn shop, right? Qin Yun looked at the 2 middle-aged men in the distance. As he spoke, he already flashed in front of them. The 2 bosses are immediately alarmed and quickly summon their swords to defend. The divine sword in his hand emitted a weak, heavenly might. It is still very strong. What are you doing? The slightly taller boss shouted with a deep voice. Send this guy's head to 9 heavens Empyrean. Help me tell him that this is the result of being arrogant in the divine desolate. Qin Yun smashed Emissary Wang's head towards a boss's sword with great force. The head was directly pierced through by the sword. Emissary Wang let out another weak cry. It was the painful cry of his broken soul. You're playing with fire and burning yourself. The other short and fat boss shouted in a low voice. Do you think you are amazing just because you have the Divine King Heavenly Seal? Qin Yun's hand extended out like lightning and grabbed the short and fat boss's neck. At the same time, he poured in an extremely strong divine power. After the short and fat boss sensed the 10 meridians' divine power, his heart is filled with fear. At this moment, he suddenly recalled that the already deceased heavenly Tao once had these 10 meridians' divine power. Yin Long is still hiding in the small space and did not come out. When he saw Qin Yun grab a boss just like that, he is extremely alarmed. He never expected Qin Yun's strength to be so powerful. Who cast the 9 heaven law curse on my parents? Qin Yun coldly asked. You don't have to say it, but I will definitely make you suffer for millions and millions of years. It's Divine King Jiangxian. The short and fat boss gritted his teeth and said, It's him who gave us the 9 heaven law curse talisman. We didn't do this. The other slightly taller boss is holding his sword in a daze. The sword in his hand is still pierced with Emissary Wang's head. He also repeatedly shook his head, indicating that it has nothing to do with him. How many other bosses does the Heavenly Tao pawn shop have? Qin Yun asked again. Jiang Zhichuan's forehead is dripping with sweat. He never expected that his father would curse Qin Yun's parents. He also never expected that his divine king father has already joined hands with other divine desolate experts to carry out a plan he doesn't know about. There are 3 more. We're the weakest, the short and fat boss said in fear. He can sense Qin Yun's dreadful heavenly might. Only they know what this heavenly might means. Are they in cahoots with you? Qin Yun asked again. No, they have dealings with Divine King Jiangxian, Sky Demon Divine King, and other Divine Kings of God Realm. We just contacted 9th Heaven Empyrean. The short and fat boss shouted in fear. Don't kill me. I can think of a way to help your parents remove the curse. Qin Yun's brows wrinkled. He shot out a blue light beam and entered the short and fat boss's head. A very strong blood soul power was implanted into the short and fat boss's soul and condensed into a rune. By doing this, he could decide the life and death of this boss's soul. Soon after, Qin Yun looked at the slightly taller boss and coldly said, You come here. The boss can only brace himself and walk over. Qin Yun also sent a rune into his soul. As long as Qin Yun wills it, their souls will fly away and scatter. You can scram back. I will come find you again. Remember, send that head back to 9th Heaven Empyrean. I need this guy to pass on a message. Qin Yun said. Yes. The 2 bosses are scared out of their wits. Chapter 2376. Jiang Zhichuan is very nervous. He arrived beside Qin Yun and said with sigh, Palace King, I feel very sorry for my father's actions. I apologize to you on his behalf. I really didn't know he would do these things. If I knew, I would definitely stop him. Qin Yun and Jiang Zhichuan are not very familiar with each other, but they have interacted a few times. He knows that Jiang Zhichuan is very timid and very cautious. On top of that, Jiang Zhichuan didn't seem to get along with his father, the Divine King. My parents have been cursed by the 9 heaven law curse. If you know a way to remove it, please cooperate with me. Qin Yun said, No problem. I will definitely cooperate with the Palace King. Rest assured, Palace King. 9 heaven law mantra will not harm people's life and soul. Jiang Zhichuan felt a lot relieved. If Qin Yun wants to attack him, he can only run away. Jiang Zhuchuan doesn't dare to fight Qin Yun head-on in this kind of place because there's a very formidable Yu Shang Yun inside the Divine Moon. She's in the same camp as Qin Yun. What's the situation with the third myriad world's divine sun? Asked Qin Yun. Hearing Qin Yun's question, Jiang Zhuchuan's expression changed. He immediately realized that Qin Yun also wants to enter the third myriad realm's divine Sunday. The current situation is not optimistic. Many forces are fighting to enter the third myriad realm's divine sun. Jiang Zhuchuan shook his head. I thought it would be easy, but entering the third myriad world's divine sun is much more difficult than I thought. The divine judge and Xia Wufeng also flew over. If I want to enter the third myriad realm's divine sun, what kind of enemies would I have to face? The ninth heaven Empyrean Emperor and the other god realms god kings? The divine chief judge asked. It's not just them. Those hidden experts in the god desolate might also join in, Jiang Zhuchuan said with a grave expression. In short, I don't have much hope now. Xia Wufeng said. You're already inside the ancestral god sun. Why are you still thinking about the other myriad realm's divine suns? The ancestral god sun and the second myriad realm's divine sun were both taken by your nine heavens divine clan, right? If the nine heavens divine clan still wanted to occupy the third myriad realm's divine sun, then the nine heavens divine clan would occupy 3 out of the 9 myriad realms divine suns. One of them was even the strongest ancestral god sun. The more they thought about it, the more irritated they felt. How could someone from another god world be so greedy? It's not like that. Although we are inside the ancestral god sun, the range of movement inside is very small. And when the myriad realm's divine sun becomes stronger in the future, it will also drive us away. Jiang Zhuchuan said, unless we have enough strength to completely control the myriad realm's divine sun, or we can't completely control it. Only by cooperating with the myriad realm's divine sun can we continue to stay. The divine presiding god said, but now is the early stage. Even if you can only enter the myriad realm's divine sun for a period of time, you will still benefit greatly. It's not good for you to take so much, right? I will fight for the third myriad realm's divine sun. Qin Yun said, Jiang Clan King, if you don't want any casualties, then withdraw. After a brief moment of consideration, Jiang Zhuchuan also decided to back out. All right then. The pressure they would face would be immense, not only from Qin Yun's side, but from other experts as well. Regarding the 9 heaven law incantation, what kind of help can you provide? Qin Yun asked. He also wants his father to recover quickly. His mother did not have to worry. Yu Shang Yun would help her dispel the curse. I can't do it for now. I need to communicate with my father. If I have any progress, I will immediately contact the Palace King. Jiang Zhuchuan is worried that Qin Yun will not feel at ease, so he signed a soul contract with Qin Yun. All right, if you have any progress, go find that nameless old man from the 9-Sun Heavenly Clan. He can be considered my friend. Let him deliver the message. Qin Yun said. All right. Jiang Zhuchuan cupped his fists towards Qin Yun. Then I will return first. If Palace King wants to know more about the third myriad realm's divine sun, I can help you scout for information. When I need help, I will find you. Qin Yun nodded. Jiang Zhuchuan finally let out a sigh of relief. He is also secretly rejoicing that he has been very humble and respectful all along, trying his best to be on good terms with Qin Yun. Otherwise, he would have been killed by Qin Yun. This guy knows how to conduct himself. Although his father is not a good person, he is also not bad. No need to guard against him. Divine presiding god said. Brother Yun, we must make good use of this Jiang Zhuchuan. After all, he is Divine King Jiang Xin's son. He is very knowledgeable about the 9 heavens. He could be used as a spy. Xia Wufeng said. You can have more contact with him. Many of the enemies your myriad realm's divine court will face in the future will surely come from the 9 heavens. Qin Yun said. Divine presiding god, and Xia Wufeng nodded. Then we will return. Divine presiding god said. After divine presiding god and the others left, Qin Yun also wanted to leave, but suddenly sensed Yu Shang Yun flying over. Don't go, I want to talk to you. Yu Shangyun is still wearing black armor and helmet. Qin Yun took out the heaven-leaping shuttle and brought Yu Shangyun inside. He also wants to talk to Yu Shangyun about the myriad heavens divine moon. What's going on with the myriad heavens divine moon? Is what that emissary said true? Asked Qin Yun. It's true. The myriad heavens divine moon is about to enter a transformation stage. We don't know how long this stage will take, but it will definitely be very difficult. Because during this period of time, many people will surely attack the myriad heavens divine moon. Yu Shangyun replied in solemn and cold voice. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Qin Yun sighed. It's not that I didn't want to tell you. It's that they decided. It's mainly Grandma Mu Yu's idea. She told me that when it's time to let go, I should let go. There's no need to defend the myriad heavens divine moon to the death. As long as I can survive, I can return to the myriad heavens divine moon in the future. Qin Yun nodded. If you really can't defend it, then come to the Sword Forest Desert. We can jointly protect the heavenly great formation and have an even stronger defense. Although Grandma Mu Yu doesn't want us to participate in the fight for the myriad realms divine sun, I still hope that you can give it a try. Yu Shangyun said, if everything goes smoothly, we can obtain a myriad realms divine Sunday. Then, at the beginning of the divine desolate era, we will have a great advantage. I will go, I must fight for it. Qin Yun said very confidently. Don't forget, the next time you eat a sacred Tao divine pill, you must come find me to cultivate the third layer of the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. If you forget, I won't forgive you. Yu Shangyun's bone-chilling voice was filled with threat, afraid that Qin Yun would not come to find her. I will come find you. Qin Yun smiled. When you go to the Heavenly Law pawn shop, you must be careful. Yu Shangyun's voice suddenly became gentle as she warned. The Heavenly Law pawn shop's boss is very strong. He is not as easy to deal with as those two idiots from before. Don't worry, Qin Yun said with a smile. I have never been afraid of anyone. Yu Shangyun did not know that Qin Yun is now the true owner of the Heavenly Law pawn shop. The Heavenly Law pawn shop is very mysterious and very powerful. As far as I know, back in the Nine Heavens, that Ninth Heaven Emperor Venerable and Divine King Jiangxian had a strong interest in the Heavenly Law pawn shop. Yu Shangyun said again, You know that Ninth Heaven Emperor Venerable? Qin Yun is somewhat astonished. I thought you didn't know him. I've only heard of him, but I've never seen him. This Ninth Heaven Emperor Venerable's strength lies in his 9 Tao images. Yu Shangyun snorted. I wonder how he cultivated it. So that's how it is. Looks like I have to be careful. Qin Yun learned that the Ninth Heaven Emperor Venerable has 9 Tao images. He no longer underestimated him. It's good that you know the guy is very strong. Yu Shangyun said, I'm going back. Qin Yun promptly teleported out with Yu Shangyun and watched as she flew back into the gigantic divine moon. At this moment, the space god and Yun Long suddenly appeared behind Qin Yun. Palace King, you are still the best. You actually scared those two bosses to the point that they turned into dogs. Yun Long is very impressed and said with a smile, I underestimated you before. Actually, if those two guys were to fight me with their lives on the line, I can't guarantee that I would be able to defeat them. Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. Those two bosses are still very strong. They just don't dare to fight. The other 3 bosses will soon find out about this matter. Those 3 guys are not that easy to deal with. Yun Long said, Palace King, you must be careful. Take me to the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. I want to go inside this time. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he looked at the space god and said, Brother, you can go back and busy yourself. All right, if there's anything, contact me again. The space god faintly smiled. Just now, he also witnessed Qin Yun's strength, so he is very relieved. After the space god left, Qin Yun followed Yun Long and flew towards the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. The Heavenly Tao pawn shop moves frequently, but Yun Long knows where it is. He is now flying above the sea with Qin Yun. Previously, he did not dare to bring Qin Yun to the Heavenly Tao pawn shop because he was afraid that Qin Yun would cause a ruckus and then be killed by those bosses. Just now, Yin Long saw that Qin Yin was able to hang up the Ninth Heaven Emperor Venerable's envoy Wang and even subdued two bosses. He is completely at ease with Qin Yun's strength. Qin Yun followed Yin Long and flew above the sea. In just half a day, he saw the dazzling Heavenly Tao pawn shop floating above the sea. This magnificent and huge Heavenly Tao pawn shop is releasing heat, causing the surrounding sea water to boil and many air mists to rise. Palace King, do you want me to call out those two bosses first? I am worried that the other three bosses are inside the Heavenly Tao pawn shop, Yin Long said in low voice. No need, directly take me in to see them. Qin Yin feels that there is no need to be timid in front of those bosses. When Qin Yin looked at the Heavenly Tao pawn shop, it is as if he is looking at the Heavenly Tao altar. He feels that it is very pleasing to the eye, as if he is looking at something that belongs to his family. He suddenly had a strange idea. He felt that the Heavenly Tao altar might be able to fuse with the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. Chapter 2377. Qin Yin felt that after the two bosses returned, they would definitely think of a way to get rid of the contract in their souls. If that was the case, then they would definitely suffer a lot. In terms of breaking contracts, Qin Yin is an expert in this area. He can break other people's soul contract, so he is very clear in this area. Therefore, he added a method into the souls of the two bosses. If they wanted to break it, their souls would definitely feel a tearing pain. Qin Yin followed Yin Long and arrived outside the Heavenly Law pawn shop. Yin Long knew that Qin Yin is very strong, but now he can't help but panic. Qin Yin patted Yin Long's shoulder and said with a smile, "Don't be afraid. Nothing will happen. Just take me in." "All right." Yin Long saw Qin Yin smile and seemed to be relieved a lot. Then he took out a token. The blue token has the word Heavenly Tao written on it. An extremely strong Heavenly Tao divine power surged out. Yin Long used the token to touch the tall golden wall in front of him. On the wall, a white door suddenly appeared and slowly fluctuated on the wall. "We could go in like this," Yin Long said. "So there is no door." Qin Yin originally wanted to see what the door of the Heavenly Law pawn shop looked like. He followed Yin Long and entered the Heavenly Law pawn shop. Yin Long hurriedly brought Qin Yin to a very quiet secret room. This secret room was arranged like a small hall. It was surrounded by all kinds of barriers and arrays. It was obvious that Yin Long had made this in order to avoid being monitored. Qin Yin really did not expect that the Heavenly Law pawn shop shopkeeper, who usually seemed to have boundless glory, would actually be hiding like a mouse inside the Heavenly Law pawn shop. This kind of life can be said to be very vexing and extremely sullen. "All right, I'll go find the two bosses now." Yin Long smoothly brought Qin Yin in and finally heaved a sigh of relief, revealing a gentle smile. "Are the other three bosses here?" Qin Yin asked. "I want to see them directly." He's already taken care of two bosses. Now he only needs three. As long as he can take care of those bosses, the Heavenly Law pawn shop will be his. While the two bosses' souls are still in his control, he wants to take down the remaining three bosses in one go. Aren't we going to discuss it with the other two bosses? Yin Long is still worried that the three bosses are too strong, and Qin Yin won't be able to suppress them. "Take me to a decent place first. It's best if it's the place where the three bosses meet their guests," Qin Yin said. "All right." Yin Long felt that since he had brought Qin Yin in, there was no need to worry too much. Yin Long could only lead Qin Yin out of the secret chamber and turn around the corridors inside the Heavenly Tao pawn shop. The walkways inside were all very luxurious. The walls were all golden and dazzling, carved with many beast-type runes. The ceiling above the passageway was inlaid with many golden beads, and the ground was also engraved with many patterns. Yin Long is filled with apprehension as he brought Qin Yin to a very luxurious hall. This hall was very spacious and could seat hundreds of people. The pillars were all golden and dazzling dragon-carved pillars. The tables and chairs were all carved from golden jade. "How can I meet the three bosses?" Qin Yin asked. I'll just kneel down and beg for an audience. Yin Long came to the center of the hall. In the middle of the hall, there's a circular pattern. That pattern looks like the black tortoise divine beast. Just as Yin Long was about to kneel down, Qin Yin immediately went over and grabbed his shoulder. He said, "You don't need to kneel to anyone. Those guys don't have the qualifications to make others kneel to them." Qin Yin felt that he is now the owner of the Heavenly Dao pawn shop, and those three guys are just villains who have occupied the Heavenly Dao pawn shop. If I don't do this, they won't come out. Yin Long let out a long sigh. It's fine, I'm already used to it. Just as Yin Long was about to kneel down, Qin Yin, who is wearing the heaven-trampling divine boots, vigorously stomped on the ground. Boom! The hall shook and exploded. Although the ground did not crack from the stomp, the tremor just now was incomparably strong, as if it shook the entire Heavenly Dao pawn shop. Yin Long is dumbfounded. He never expected Qin Yin to be so reckless. He hasn't even seen the three pawn shop owners yet, and he has already caused such a huge commotion. Qin Yin walked to a chair with a smile and sat down. He said, "Shopkeeper Yin Long, from now on, I am the owner of the Heavenly Dao pawn shop. Come, Sir T to me, the new boss." This. Yin Long is stunned. He originally thought that Qin Yin came here mainly because his parents were under the Nine Heavens Law curse. He never expected that Qin Yin would actually want to be the owner of the Heavenly Dao pawn shop. "What? You don't recognize me as the boss?" Qin Yin chuckled and said, "Quickly pour me a cup of tea. From now on, the Heavenly Dao pawn shop is mine." "Yin Long, you are still the shopkeeper of the pawn shop." Yin Long gritted his teeth and decided to follow Qin Yin. Even if he had to fight with the three bosses, he would throw caution to the wind. "Yes, boss." Yin Long quickly took out the teapot and teacups and poured tea for Qin Yin. Pouring tea was just a form of ritual. Yin Long is willing to do this. It means that he is willing to follow Qin Yin and recognize Qin Yin as the boss. Right at this moment, two middle-aged men rushed in hastily. They're all wearing golden robes. One is the short and fat boss. Yin Long only knows that the other bosses call this short and fat fatty goo. As for the slightly taller boss, he is called Old Spicy Monkey. These are all their nicknames. From their nicknames, it can be seen that they're not very strong people. Otherwise, they would not have been scared by Qin Yin to the point of trembling. So it is Palace King. After Fatty Goo saw Qin Yin, he quickly smiled apologetically and said, "I did not expect Palace King to arrive so quickly. Palace King, you can just let Yin Long inform us. There is no need to make such a big commotion." Old Spicy Monkey scratched his face. Although his face is full of smile, he has a worried look on his face. "Did you two send Messenger Wang's doghead back?" Qin Yin sat on a chair, drank a mouthful of tea, and asked with a slightly imposing tone. "I sent it back. I just sent it back." Old Spicy Monkey quickly said, "Palace King, there are three other bosses here. Those three guys are very strong. We can't suppress them." "Then you think I can suppress them?" Qin Yin narrowed his eyes and asked with a smile that is not a smile. It is hard to say." Fatty Goo finished speaking and then hurriedly said, "Palace King, it is not that I look down on you, but those three guys are very strong and very despicable." Qin Yin said with a smile, "Don't worry. I will wait for them here. They will come, right?" Old Spicy Monkey shook his head. "I'm not sure. They're a lot more arrogant than us. Even if it is us, sometimes we might not even be able to meet them." Suddenly, the door of the hall was blasted open and more than 30 youngsters walked in. Each and every one of these youngsters are wearing luxurious clothes. They're talking and laughing as they walked in. Moreover, the aura of divine power on their bodies is very strong. These people look very young, but there are actually a few Dao God Realm. The others are also very strong Sacred God Realm. The aura of sacred heaven divine power on their bodies is very strong. It can be seen that there are many divine Dao images on their bodies. It seems like they're having a party or something. That is why they came to this incomparably luxurious hall. Old Spicy Monkey, who are they? Qin Yin asked. He is very unhappy in his heart. He feels that the Heavenly Law pawn shop is already his. These people should not be messing around here. They're from other god realms. They're the descendants of some divine kings. A few of them are the disciples and descendants of those three bosses. I don't have much contact with them, so I'm not too clear about them. In short, these juniors were invited by the disciples and descendants of those three bosses. Old Spicy Monkey secretly sent a voice transmission. Qin Yun said, "Palace King, don't make a sound. Let me deal with them." Qin Yun is somewhat surprised that people from other god realms have already arrived at Divine Desolate. He suspects that Divine Desolate space has already become incomparably large and is in contact with many god realm space. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for other god realms to come to Divine Desolate. Bai Suxin had previously said that she might not be able to return to the White Sun God world for the rest of her life. This was because it was very difficult for the White Sun God world to get close to the Divine Desolate world. Only when she was close to it could she open the spatial wall and return. Of course, even if she doesn't return, she is very content staying in Divine Desolate, especially after meeting this little brother Qin Yun. Qin Yun feels that he might meet White Sun Divine World's Divine King White Sun in the future. He is Bai Suxin's father. After the group of youngsters walked in, they saw Qin Yun sitting on a chair, Yun Long and the two bosses standing beside him. Old Spicy Monkey, who is that person? Look at his appearance. He looks very imposing. A man wearing luxurious white brocade robe, wearing a purple gold crown on his head, faces handsome as Jade looked at Qin Yun and asked coldly, "This man's skin is like jade, as if it is emitting a faint white jade light, giving people a very gorgeous feeling. His divine power is very peculiar. It has a kind of indescribable softness, but from time to time it will erupt with a strong power. This is my friend," Old Spicy Monkey said. "Gong Sun Yurong, you brought so many friends here. Is it a gathering?" A trace of contempt appeared in Gong Sun Yurong's eyes. She indifferently glanced at Qin Yun and said with sneer, "Old Spicy Monkey, you are only at this level. The friends you make are not that good. Oh, that's right. Did you properly entertain the envoy sent by Ninth Heaven Venerable Empyrean from the Nine Heavens? My father didn't have the time. That's why he let you be in charge of entertaining that envoy. He has already returned to the Nine Heavens." Although Old Spicy Monkey has a smile on his face, he is cursing in his heart. That envoy Wang's dog head was smashed. Qin Yun made that broken dog head hold its breath and sent a message to Ninth Heaven Venerable Empyrean. That's good. If nothing unexpected happens, my father and the two martial uncles will soon join forces with Ninth Heaven Venerable Empyrean. At that time, the Nine Heavens Heavenly Demon Divine King Jiang Xian, and Ninth Heaven Venerable Empyrean will be on my father's side. Gong Sun Yurong faintly smiled. Although he is faintly smiling, his expression is full of pride, and his eyes are filled with incomparable pride. Senior Brother Gong Sun, it seems that the third Myriad Realm's divine son is destined to be ours. A beautiful woman wearing a luxurious blue dress walked over with a gorgeous smile on her face. Our father will definitely become one of the Nine Heavens divine kings. This woman and Gong Sun Yurong are both Tao God Realm youths. Obviously, this woman's father is also one of the three bosses. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.